What is up, gang? Gang. How we doing, people? The lighting seems weird in here. I'm not sure why. I feel like maybe it's because it's actually sunny outside for once. My light on? Yeah. What the hell? What's up, people? How are we doing? Big day today. We got the tier list going down. Of course, a little DPS tier list. Power-wise for you guys. Wear glasses, no squinting today. I'm out after stream again. And also, I don't need glasses today because I'm just going to be placing icons of different specs in World of Warcraft onto a chart and comparing them and just yapping. What's up, though, people? Happy Friday. How are we all doing? Happy Valentine's Day. Have any of you got a lovely little date lined up today? Or is your date with me? Is that what's going on? I don't like this lighting. Is that... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You need to be straight out for Valentine's. Caught. Guilty. Why is that not... No, wait. Let me pop these around. Pop these shutters around, shall we? Oh my god, fucking flashbang. Has that made any difference? No. In fact, I think it's worse. Where appreciate the follow, my friend. I look like a fucking ghost. What's going on? Not a fan of this. Let's do that. I feel like the light's like dimmer inside. Jesus Christ. Might start melting like a vampire if I open the blind for too long. I don't know. Fuck it. We'll run with it. We'll run with it. What's good, gang? Who have we got? Who have we got in here? We've got a Love Live. We've got a Seb. We've got a Just the Jojo. New schedule? What's the new schedule? I'm now live Monday to Friday, 3 p.m.-ish until 7 p.m.-ish. Obviously, we're a little early today. I do have plans after stream. And also, fucking PTR's down again. So after I've done the tier list, I mean, I don't know what else there is going to be to do. But maybe it's back up after. We'll have to see, won't we? We will indeed. But yeah, that's my new schedule. So I don't stream on the weekends anymore, which is going to feel weird. I mean, to be fair, I didn't stream yesterday either, really. I streamed for an hour and then the fucking servers went down. So yeah, they came back up this morning and then they're now back down again. So I don't know what Blizzard are playing out with that. On the last week of testing. Rally with the big raid, W raid. Hope you had a good stream, brother. I logged into your stream earlier and you were like level 9, and I logged back in like 2 hours later and you were level 13. Are you like the fastest leveler in Classic, or like what's going on there? I don't know. What's up, Jack? He actually leveled it. I did, but only because it was on stream. Otherwise, you best believe it'd still be level 76 right now. Random, appreciate the follow. Billy, why do peeps do this? Who wants to sit around and listen to looped music, waiting for some dude to finally show up to his own show? Don't get it twisted, bro. I love your videos, but damn. You YouTube frogs, you have your quirks, don't you? You have your things that you love to be like super weird and nitpicky about, don't you? Oh my god. Imagine going to any show ever and there's like an intro/intermission like screen on the stage while everyone sits down and waits for the show. Now, I'm not comparing myself. Hey, you're the one that's comparing it to a show. But Tom, appreciate the follow. But like, what's the issue? You're waiting 2 minutes of your life for me to get set up and let everybody arrive so that when I turn the stream on, I'm not just talking to fucking nobody because nobody's actually in the stream yet. Like, what? Oh, God. Zanzian, appreciate the follow. Coach, what's up? Sainsbury's, Iena. What's up, Ale? So people know he's streaming, they have time to get in here in time. Thank you, Ale. Appreciate the backup, my friend. I mean, Billy sounds like he's a nice person, and he just has his like weird things that he gets a bit on edge about, but we'll let it slide. But I just fear that is the YouTube game. People get annoyed about the weirdest shit on YouTube. It's crazy. What the hell are you in a closet? I'm in my walk-in wardrobe, actually. In my penthouse suite with the Lambo parked outside. Yeah, I do seem very illuminated, don't I, today? Don't know what's going on. Oh, fuck, we'll delay the tier list so I can actually hang out. Are you not allowed to... So you're not allowed to watch tier list, you're not allowed to watch PTR, you're not allowed to watch anything WoW related, Jojo? Or, I don't know. Are those your undies next to your head there? No, 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 these are like all shorts. My undies are down here. Just there. What the fuck is going on? Where are you guys all coming from? Where are all these follows coming from? I'm confused. Welcome to the stream, people. Appreciate all the follows. But where are you coming from? Are you like coming from over on YouTube, or have you just got the notification in the Discord, or what's going on? I don't know. Send some of that sun up north, will ya? Is it even sunny? Like, it must be sunny today. I've actually had a nap already today. It's 2 PM and I've already had a nap. Yeah, I suppose it's kind of... What the... Why are we getting so many follows? Grunt, appreciate the follow. Thank you very much, my friend. It's scaring me. My stream's growing. Going on a double date? No. Sorry, going on a date? No. Yes. Going on a double date, though. Like, it's not super Valentine's. It's still early, you know? So, we're doing a little double date, doing a little... I think we're playing beer pong. I think technically it's actually Prosecco Pong, but my ego would be shattered into a million pieces if I told you guys that. So, yeah. I do have somewhat of a date tonight, correct. Why Subrog will be S tier? I'm actually... Hold that thought, Mickers. Hold that thought, okay? Hold it. What's up, Tom? Shed, Legolas. Nice haircut. It suits you. Thank you very much, my friend. I've gone for a bit of mullet vibes. Are you joking my ass? PTR is down right now. What the hell? You're joking my ass, aren't you? YouTube frogs are so outrageous. I mean, Seb is the definition of a YouTube frog, quite literally. Intro credits. What the fuck is this shit? Are they taking the piss right now? What's up, Sword? When is 11.1 releasing? It is releasing on the 25th, but then Mythic Plus will be like a week later. Skylar, appreciate the follow. Yeah, Mythic Plus will be like a week later. So what is that? Maybe like the 4th or something like that. 4th for NA and 5th for EU. Wait, we've actually got quite a while. Okay, so I've got like the whole of next week, the whole of the week after pretty much, because nothing Mythic Plus related is going to be out. Okay, we're kind of chilling. Pedro, appreciate the follow. Is this are you guys here because I've got tier list in my title, or like what's going on right now? Maybe I need to have tier list in my title every single day. Tally lets his stream run nearly an hour before he pops. Does he? Yeah, I feel like that's a little excessive. I mean, people are free to do what they want, right? If he's able to do that, then fire away. But like also, I mean, I guess an hour is quite long. You got to find that sweet spot of where people will turn up and like wait for a bit. But I've realized that like, I don't know why, but I've always waited like to start streaming directly on like the hour or half hour. I think that might be a little something to do with autism. Not that I have that. But I've realized I can just whack the stream on like kind of when I'm ready to whack it on, and then leave it going for a bit while you guys turn up. And then I can jump on like a couple minutes after the half hour or hour, you know? Provided that that's okay with Billy, okay? Please tell me there's good news for Rogue. There is in a roundabout way, but also no. There's not good news for Rogue. Oh, you came from YouTube, Crispy. Welcome, my friend. Sushi's always been here, of course. Of course. Yeah, Windwalker's a lot of fun, for sure. You've hit the big time, mate. This is it. Not quite, not quite. I need to figure out how to grow the stream. Hey, and I might have found it by putting 2 4-letter words in my title. Let me tell you that. Hey. Icy Veins has an 11.1 tier list. Yeah, that's Petco. Petco mocks them up, and he's been doing them on stream as well. He's been doing like a progressive tier list, hasn't he? I was on the YouTube front page. Holy, wait, so have you been a subscriber on the YouTube, or is this literally your first time ever finding out about me? Gox, appreciate the follow. Moons, what's up? What's up? What's up? Hey, Slayer, good to see you. Not sunny in Manchester, shock. I mean, it's not like sunny down here, don't get me wrong. It's just bright. I think that's a better term. Oh my god, you guys are active today. I cannot keep up. What the fuck is going on? Huh? We are all here because the content is good. Thank you very much for the kind words, my friend. I appreciate that. You know what? I'll be transparent with you guys. I'm kind of a little bit nervous to make this tier list on stream. I don't know why. I think it's because I haven't recorded like content that I know is going on YouTube specifically in so long, and I haven't done like a tier list type video in forever. So I don't know why. I'm feeling a little bit like, you know, I don't know. I think it's because like I want to get good and accurate information across to you guys, right? And there is a lot of information to get across, and I want to do it in a clear and concise way. I always get like a little bit. I don't know if I mean it is nerves. I've got to perform on stage right now. It's scary. It will M0 will be out on the 25th, I would imagine. Chilled content, WoW creator, seemingly actually having fun. We like to have a little bit of fun, you know? We like to dabble. Better be a piss max in disguise. What the hell does that even mean? Oh, what am I drinking? It's a Diet Coke, my friend. It's a little DC. I am a massive Coca-Cola fan. It is like everybody has their vices of like cigarettes or alcohol or vaping or whatever their bad vices are. My vice has always been soft drinks, which is like, it's not the end of the world. And I would normally be drinking like regular Coke, but Diet Coke, 0 calories, trying to sort of cut right now. And also less sugar, but it does have more like aspartame in and shit like that. That's not good for you, but you know, I enjoy it. So once in a while, have a little Coca-Cola or something. Oladaba. I'm doing very well, Moons. I'm doing very well. I didn't get the greatest night's sleep, so I had a little nap earlier. But apart from that, yeah, we're chilling, man. We're chilling. I do want to play WoW, but like I need to get these tier lists like done. I'm probably gonna, I mean, I'll get into it in a bit, but yeah, we'll start with the tier list, and then depending on if PTR's back up or not, depending on where we're at with time, then we can play some World of Warcraft afterwards. Honestly, I just came here because I saw you playing Outlaw and you seemed kind of chill to watch. Couldn't care less about tier lists. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, as a content creator, you have to be brain dead to not make tier lists. They're not my favorite pieces of content to make because they are clickbaity. Like, we all know that, like, I don't get me wrong. I am doing this to help the community and like just it's a very good way. It's a very easy way for people to just see like what's good and what's not good, right? But like, obviously, it's great for the channel as well. So I have to do it. But I will be making videos as well of like, I guess they're tier lists in a way, but they're not like actually just right, I'm slapping all these icons on a tier list, but it's more like comparison videos where I'm going to go super in depth on like how fun the classes are or how good the classes are performing, etc, etc, and that'll be more specifically for YouTube. Okay, so a lot of you came from YouTube then. What's up, Rag? Pepsi Max Cherry on top. I'm not a big cherry fan, I can't lie. Massive Coke. Yeah, I was gonna say I love Coke, but I knew that I'd get comments from you guys. As a Feral player, Windwalker over Feral probably. I mean, they're both very good specs right now, but you guys will see where I've ranked, or where I'm going to rank all the specs. My BF said, can you pick up some DC on the way home? I thought you meant discount chocolate. I feel like that's an even weirder abbreviation than Diet Coke. When I came home with Valentine's Day chocolate when he wanted Diet Coke. I mean, it sounds like a win either way. I can't lie. It's only DPS tier list. Yeah, it will be only DPS for now, because that's all I've really played, right? Like, I'm not... I try and... stick, like, you've got you guys like Tactics and Quasi that do the, like, they focus on the tank stuff. You've got your Jacks, your Growls who do like the healer stuff. I want to try and like fill the niche of being like a DPS, the DPS guy, because I can play like most of the specs, the DPS specs at like a decent level, right? I like to think I know what I'm talking about. So yeah, it's obviously just a lot wider of a gap to fill because there are 26 DPS specs, I think. I'm kind of newish to the channel, but I've been using your UI, Plater, and Omni CD. Let's go, Emo, and they are great. Appreciate the kind words, my friend. How soon will there be an update? I need to finalize the tier, not the tier list, the Plater profile, and then we will make a video releasing it. But it will be before the season 2 goes live, for sure. The aspartame thing is rubbish. For it to maybe have a negative effect, you need to drink 28. Yeah, didn't that James Smith guy make a video about that or something? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? It's like everything's bad for you. Like if you're partial to a Diet Coke or something with aspartame in it once in a while, it's not going to be the end of the world. And I would argue it's better than having like the full-on sugar version, I think. You reckon there'll be any more buffs slash nerfs before the patch? Yeah, I would imagine so. So, okay, let's get into it then, shall we? So, we are going to rank every DPS spec against each other in terms of power. We're going from the S tier all the way down to the C tier. This A+ tier is going to be like potential meta candidates. S is going to be pretty much guaranteed meta. And then we do have a tier down the bottom for any specs that I feel like I need to do more testing on, or if like the tier sets have been bugged or the class has been bugged on the PTR, they will be going in this tier here. I think there's only 2 specs that are going to go in there, and I'm sure you would have seen it on other people's tier lists as well, because there is 2 specs that have just been completely dead the whole of PTR. So yeah, but what we will do is on the build up to 11.1, with each set of changes that we get, we will be updating this tier list. I will literally, I'm not gonna, with the progression tier list, I'm literally just gonna open the tier list that we've already made today in future weeks and just like drag the icons around and like say why they've moved because of buffs or nerfs, etc, etc. Okay, but saying that, like generally, I feel like the DPS balance is pretty good so far, but we'll get into that and you guys will see for yourselves where I'm kind of ranking these specs. Obviously, it is opinion based, but I'd like to think that I've got a good understanding of all the specs because I played most of them on PTR, or if not, I've watched them instead, you know? I just realized. Oh, wait. Aha, wait, there we go. Sorry, the music turned off, didn't it? Okay, there we go. Jack, everyone ready to just type I can't regardless of how he ranks each spec. Yeah. What week or do you use for Mythic Plus? Have you set up your own? I don't really use any. I use the personal resource display, Mo. What's up, Leonardo? Good to see you. Bringing that energy. Love to see it. All I need to see is blood in S tier. Well, this is only going to be DPS, okay? We might quickly do tanks and healers after, but I mean, I'm just not well versed on them at all. I have not been paying attention to them one singular bit. Now, I changed scene and I didn't have the right audio like enabled. Does anyone know if I can get PvP rating via Plunderstorm? I don't believe you can, my friend. Will this tier list be as normal video on the channel? Yeah, so what we'll do on the YouTube is we're going to start with the range DPS specs first. As you can see, they're all lined up at the bottom. And then after that, we're going to add the melee specs to it in a different video. And then it'll be a complete comparison of all the DPS specs against each other. Hey, welcome to the stream, Vrail. How are we doing? Good morning, Nico. Colonel. Flaming Pirate. It's good to see you, gang. It's good to see you all. Oh, I could have... if I had thought about it, I should have made a... like an actual tier list thumbnail for YouTube, shouldn't I? Damn it. What's up, Big Mac? I did snow, Jack, don't worry. Don't worry, mate. I did see something about placing a red tiger in the F tier repeatedly. Not too sure what that was about. Pretty good. Excited to see. I was excited to maybe kill Queen Mythic on Sunday. Oh. Good luck, my friend. You got this. Right, so we'll start with the range then. What specs are we going to start with? I mean, I have got an order, so maybe we could just follow the order that I've got here. Let me just have a little think real quick. Okay, yeah, we'll do that. So, first up, we've got the Destruction Warlock. I'll drag it just to the top there so that you guys can see which one I'm talking about, all right? So, Destro has some of the best AoE DPS in the game right now, especially on its 2-minute cooldowns, but Destro actually still kind of slaps outside of its 2-minute cooldowns. It used to be like a pure 2-minute class, but it's still filling that gap with big damage as long as the pools are big enough. But that's not where it stops for the Destro lock. You also have great prio damage. Like, if you want to start just funneling Chaos Bolts into a main target, because of your tier set, you can actually still do respectable cleave damage at the same time. So you can just choose to delete those priority targets, which is super nice. Super nice damage profile to be able to have. It also has great single target damage, and more specifically, we know how Destro performs on 2 targets because they're now playing Mayhem, which feels like it has a ridiculous uptime. So you are just constantly firing Chaos Bolts at 2 targets. If you're thinking the second boss in Floodgate, some of the DPS that this spec can put out is ridiculous. And then I'm not going to go super in depth with the utility and defensives for each of the specs, because I've talked about that so much over and over and over again, and nothing's really changed that much. Like, Destro's tanky, it brings health stones to the group, and it also brings a combat res to the group, which is super valuable. So for that reason, I'm going to be putting Destro in the A+ tier. So this means that it's not guaranteed to be locked in meta, but it's got a very, very good chance of being in the meta comp. Wait, let me copy and paste it. Oh yeah, shit, I got that. I can just press the button. Let's go. This idiot streamer, there's no way he put it there. This guy is so stupid. What a bot. Thanks for the support, guys. Appreciate that. Let's go. Stop it. I want to talk to you guys in between. I probably should have stated that, ML. Good point. This is for Mythic Plus, okay? I'm not going to make a tier list about Raid because we haven't tested enough in Raid. Yeah, there's just not been enough playtime in Raid to actually be able to like rank what's good. And I mean, I didn't even test Mythic, so yeah, I'm very limited on my knowledge in Raid. But I mean, you can take, like, when I'm talking about single target and stuff like that, you can take that and also apply it to Raid. And generally, what's going to be good in Mythic Plus is generally going to be good in Raid as well. I'll take. Streamer clueless. If you want to talk, maybe don't put specs in such stupid places, mate. Then we won't have to spam. Oh, you guys are actually going to do it every time, aren't you? Nasha, thank you very much for the sub, my friend. Sorry. Actually, I might just have alerts off for this, but I will still be able to see them. So, Nasha, with the big 5 months. Appreciate you, big dog. Good luck. Straight back to you, my friend. Okay, so sticking with Warlock then. We'll stick with the classes. We'll do like one class at a time. We've got Demo Warlock up next, which I feel like it's kind of slept on, to be honest. I feel like Demo has great damage in all scenarios. It's got good single target, good cleave, thanks to the tier set especially, because you're getting those extra dread bites from your dogs. And it's also, once you're ramped up in AoE, you've got like very respectable AoE damage as well. Though I would say most of these damage profiles are slightly behind Destro in every sense of the word. So the only thing that Demo does bring that Destro Laxon more so is the fact that Demo, I would say, has more consistent damage. You have a 1 minute cooldown, and even just in between that, because of your tier set and just the way you deal damage, you have a lot more of a consistent damage profile. So that plays into Demo's favor. The tier set's doing a lot of damage. And again, very tanky on the Demo lock, or just Warlock in general, bringing health stones to the group, bringing your combat res to the group as well. So it's a very solid pick if you do want to be playing Demo in next season, and I'm going to be putting it in the A tier. Sorry, Omega, what did you say, buddy? What's up, Dan? Kalamazzi uploads a video calling Demo Sleeper 3 days ago. Wait, did he actually? I don't know. I didn't see that, I promise. No, I actually didn't. Okay, right, I've got to hold my hands up. I went around every single individual content creator and just stole what they were saying about their specs. There we go. Jangles, appreciate the follow, my friend. Yeah, I'll be editing out the chatting for sure. Don't you worry about that. Here for the Demo downfall. Wait, why? We love Demo. Demo's such a cool class, man. New haircut. Yeah, I did get a haircut like 2 days ago maybe, but like the style's not that different. I don't feel like. Hey, what's up, Rixie? I find the UI better than Twitch. There we go, my friend. I'll be streaming on YouTube every day. Well, every time that I'm live now as well. So, hey, you've got me for good. Unlucky. What's up, Mustaine? Demo sucks since DH stole the fun. I love Demo, man. Like, I know people are butthurt still about Metamorphosis going to Demon Hunter. I get it. I'd never played Demo before when that was a thing, and the same with Survival Hunter being ranged. But I think Demo is such a fun playstyle, man. Last up for the lock specs then, we have the Affliction Warlock. Now, this spec actually kind of pumps. I've played quite a lot of Affliction Warlock on this PTR cycle, and it does very decent damage, especially on mass AoE, but that's kind of AF's like niche. Is niche the right word? I don't know. AF always does well in mass AoE, but it also now does decently on cleave because your UAs are spreading from your tier set as well, and even single target, which is something that AF has been notoriously struggling with in its Mythic Plus build, is fine. Now, it's nothing to write home about, don't get me wrong, but it is fine, and you can get away with a single target damage. So AF is actually in a relatively good place to what it normally is. It also has super short cooldowns, so you're getting your big damage spikes on a 1 minute cooldown, or if not, a 2 minute cooldown with your Dark Glare. Very nice damage profile for Mythic Plus. But, I mean, why would you play Affliction Warlock in terms of power when you could play the other two Warlock specs, right? Same goes for the tankiness with AF and the same sorts of utility. I'm going to be putting Affliction Warlock in the B tier. Look at that. We've got a nice little spread of the Warlocks across the tiers. Let's go. The problem with AF has always been it's time to ramp up. The dots can be huge, but you got to spread them quick. Well, yeah, the big problem with AF, it's like that's not actually that big of a problem, especially in higher keys when you have the time to ramp up. But AF's problem can be you can be very shafted by timings because of your Vile Taint. Like if you make the wrong decision with sending your Vile Taint, the pack dies, and then you start the next pack with no Vile Taint, it feels horrible and it takes so much longer for your damage to actually get going. So that comes with skill, but at the same time it's just a flaw in the design of the spec. Like we all know the problem with AF, and that is Vile Taint. Whether you make it 2 charges, whether you reduce the cooldown of it, that'd probably be the easiest thing, right? I don't know, there's plenty of things they could do, but they just seem to be refusing to do it at the moment. Hey, what's up, Ethan? Happy Valentine's to you, my friend. Look, we're having a little tier list day today. How sick is that? Is this a time walking tier list? Yeah. So this is ranking the specs based on how quickly they can clear the time walking dungeons. Appreciate all the follows, gang. Holy shit. Welcome to all the new people in chat. We are getting so many follows right now. Wait, what's a Vile Taint? A shit talent is what it is. You acknowledge him. Wait, did I not say hi to you earlier, Omega? I thought I did. My bad, buddy. My bad. Snarky, appreciate the follow. What did you say, Omega? Would you say Demo is as sleeper as your tier list? What, as in like my tier list is super underrated, just like Demo is? Yeah, I'd probably say that. I mean, like, I'm trying to stay humble, you know, but I guess if you bring it up, then I can probably vouch for it. Hey man, you're popping up on the recommended feed and I've watched a ton of your videos, so the follow was a no-brainer. Appreciate you very much, my friend. Thank you very much. Good to have you here. Rummy here. Oh no. You've just self-reported the worst accent in the world, Kyle. Well, Scouse is up there as well, I suppose. Good to see you, Kyle. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. People complain and want change, then complain when they get the change. Is that in reference to Affliction? I don't know. Okay, Warlock done. Let's move on to the 2 ranged hunter specs then. We'll save survival for the melee part of the tier list. So we'll start with BM. BM is in a very, very good spot right now. Again, up there with Destro in some of the highest AoE damage in the game. Probably does maybe more overall AoE DPS than Destro, and it always has damage as well. It is super consistent. You have that Bestial Wrath always off of cooldown, so you're always able to pump. Doesn't matter whether it's mass AoE, it does well in cleave as well, and it even does very well in single target now, which is something at the start of PTR, BM was diabolical on single target. From what I was testing, it was horrible, but it actually kind of pumps on single target now as well. So it has all of the damage bases covered. Kind of scary, because if BM gets tuned on its damage, it doesn't really bring much to the group in terms of utility. So you would just take other specs if it does get nuked on its damage. But yeah, it has super consistent damage, and then you've got your big 2-minute burst with Call of the Wild as well. Like, even though I've just shit on its utility, the utility for Hunter in general has improved, but it's still not quite there, right? Like, you have your Binding Shot, which can be combined with your Implosive Trap to knock the mobs up, stun them at the top of the knock up, and then they're stunned for a few seconds, right? Very finicky when you could just have like a Demon Hunter press Chaos Nova and do the exact same thing, right? You do have a choice between Scatter Shot or Bursting Shot as another single target or AoE stop, but Bursting Shot can get a little bit messy. So like, Hunter has the utility, but it's just very finicky, and it's a lot of work for the same reward as other specs just get for pretty much free, right? So that's utility. And then defensive wise, I think Hunter is like tanky these days. Honestly, I feel like Hunter is one of the tankier classes in the game, which definitely did not used to be the case. But you've got 2 charges of Survival of the Fittest. You've got Feign Death, which can stop cast on you, but also remove poisons and diseases now as well, which is not so useful for Season 2, but still something to note. You've got Turtle. If you're playing Pack Leader, you've got a very slight DR from the mini turtle cover that you get. You've got Fortitude of the Bear. You've got extra health from your pet as well. So I do feel like, in general, Hunter, but BM specifically, is a tanky spec. So in the position that BM's in right now, it did just receive a tiny, or maybe not a tiny nerf, but it did receive some nerfs just over the recent tuning. But I still think it is a very, very good spec. So I'm going to be placing this in the A+ tier as well. Oh, were the recent changes a bug? Did they fix something with it? Yes, sir. No, this is a Mythic Plus tier list. So, I mean, a big focus will be on AoE, but it's all damage profiles, right? Because if a spec just does massive amounts of AoE but 0 single target, it's not going to be a meta spec. What have I missed? Oh, wait. BM4 set now applies to Animal Companion. I missed that on the changes. That is huge. So that's even more CDR as well. Sheesh. So this is the thing, is I don't know. I'm going to try and order them slightly within the tiers, but like basically if they're A+, they're A+, right? Like, don't look too much into where they're placed on the tiers, but I will try and put them in the correct orders, okay? The reason that I put BM behind Destro is because BM, I don't want to say it's a lot of pad damage, but I feel like I don't know actually. Do I want to put BM in front of Destro? Maybe I do, because you do get the prio damage from your kill command. Like, that's the thing, is like I don't want to be too finicky about where I place these within the tiers, you know? Quiet-eyed with a tier 1, thank you very much, my friend. The ads should be as low as they possibly can be. I don't think I have my ads on full blast. I don't want them to be anyway. So yeah, I hope they're not. Posture check, hydrate, and a bicep flex. What's going on with the music? What's wrong with the music, Hugo? I'm not sure. He's going to main BM and don't want to be called an S tier meta slave. Yeah, I'm sandbagging right now. I'm sandbagging. Keeps playing some weird sound. Was it just a song? I don't know. BM has so many bugs that it'll probably somehow end up dog shit before the season. I feel like there's quite a few bugs with like a lot of the specs. Yeah, but that's the thing, Quinide. I like genuinely have them set to. I've set the ads to be as low, as unintrusive as I can, because I don't really earn anything from ads, so I don't want to ruin your guys' experience for no reason, right? Hey, if it was paying well, then we would whack those bad boys straight up. It was like some snake charming melody in the background. I don't know, I guess I must have just tuned it out. I don't think I'm happy with placing it behind Destro, actually. I think I'm going to put BM in front of Destro at the top of A+, okay? Like I said, try not to read too much into the tiers. If they're A+, they're a very good spec with possibility of being in the meta composition. It's just not like a guaranteed lock-in. But I'll try and place them as best I can, okay? I hear that. Some streams I just can't watch because they have ads all the time. Yeah, exactly. Like, I do feel like you get to a point where ads become... I think at some point of viewership, ads become like your main earner, which is insane. Because right now, they don't earn fucking anything for me, so... I just try and whack them down as low as I can for you guys. I'd rather you guys just were able to enjoy the content, right? If BM is higher than A, it's S+ for me, as I'm bad at the game. Don't know what that means, Jim Pow. Are you live streaming from The Gap? Is that The Gap as in like the clothing brand? Yeah, I'm actually just in the middle of the store right now. Actually so dumb that BM does any damage as anyone that plays it just gets carried to their rating, really frustrating me as someone that pushes high keys, 3012 rating, and I play a spec that actually takes skill, like the Org Evoker. Some fighting words right there. Some fighting words indeed. Okay, so BM, A+. Let's move on to marksmanship now. I feel like I kind of overestimated marksmanship. I think I got a little bit giddy and excited at the start because of the reworks on this spec. I don't think it's actually that good. I think it's great in lower keys, as marksmanship normally is, because you have crazy burst in all forms of damage, whether it's AoE or single target, but that does quickly fall off. And then you end up having very lackluster single target. You've got good AoE damage on your cooldowns, but it is target capped, so you've got to bear that in mind as well. Your single target is kind of propped up by Sentinel if you're playing Sentinel. So MM's not in a great spot for damage. Like, a good MM will still do some respectable numbers, but nothing crazy. They can now reliably bring Lust to the group, which is very nice for a quality of life change. However, they have actually lost some power because of that. because they've had to sacrifice their Fortitude of the Bear that they used to have from having like a Tenacity pet, even though you didn't have a pet. Basically, you just used to have Fortitude of the Bear, which was another defensive that you now no longer have, which is very rough. So, I mean, honestly, I feel like if I was an MM hunter, would I rather have the old way of lusting but still have an extra defensive? Probably. But yeah, BM is just better in every scenario when it compares to the marksmanship hunter. So I'm going to put MM in the B tier. No glasses, you can't even see where he's putting them. Yeah, I'm just playing, what's that, the Pinata game? What's it called? Or is it just called Pinata? I don't know. No, you would not. Let's not go there. Hey, listen. I used to be an MM main. I think if I was playing marksmanship in higher keys, I would almost guaranteed rather have an extra defensive and have to mess about with the lust. Like, don't get me wrong, the lust change is a massive W. Thank you, Blizzard, for doing that. But to lose a whole defensive for that, not ideal. Beaver Pinata, there we go. Pin the tail on Dong. Yeah, maybe that's what I was going for. I don't know. MM had no iterations because the dev used up a lot of time bringing pets back to the spec and not focusing on fixing the spec. That's why it sucks currently. Yeah, MM's not in a great spot right now. Not in a great spot. Oh shit! Will with the gifted to Renko. Thank you very much. Sorry, I don't have my alerts on. I can see them, but yeah, you're gonna have to bear with me. Appreciate you, brother. Why to Renku out of everyone? What the hell? I'm really interested by this topic, but I'm just distracted by the S tier storage in the background. Do you like it? You like that shit? I need to fill up the storage though. We've got a lot of empty units right there, don't we? William! Let's go. Was Renku begging for a sub? Is that what was going on here? The best DPS player in my Mythic Plus team is MM only. Sad about MM and beat it. Well, like, this is the thing. Remember, guys, all of these specs that I'm about to rank can clear within the top 2 or 3 key levels of the world keys, of the world first keys, right? So don't, like, if it's in a B tier or even a C tier, like, it's still a viable spec. For the majority of you guys that are pushing keys, you're going to be able to play whatever spec you would like in whatever key you are playing. I'm really interested by this topic, but I'm just distracted because I don't know just how tall this streamer is. Oh, let's pause the tier list for 1 second then. Holy shit. Well, as you asked so nicely, I guess I couldn't cooperate. I am 6'6", actually, yeah. There's no big deal. No big deal. I never mention it either. Yeah, it's just one of those ones. Like, I'll answer it. If people ask me, then I'll answer it. And that's why I've mentioned it 428 times, I guess. What would you say that problem is, Luke? Here he goes again. I mean, if people ask, I have to give the people what they want, you know? You know? Appreciate all the follows, gang. Okay, so up next, we have the Boom Chicken. Now, where am I going to rate this? I don't think it's on par with the... I think it's close, but I don't think it's an A+ tier spec. Boomy has crazy high AoE damage, especially when it's sustained. So in those higher keys, Boomy starts to really shine, as we've seen in Season 1. And it's got some respectable single target damage as well. But the reason that Boomy is so good is because it's super flexible with its cooldowns. Because you have 2 charges of Incarn, you're able to make some very good decisions on when you want to use your cooldowns. So better players will get more out of the spec because they might hold their Incarn for the next pack and just have insane damage for 2 packs in a row. Especially if they're big packs as well. That's where Boomy really, really shines. A single target has improved, like I've just said. But unfortunately, their tankiness is what lets them down. Now, I remember trying to gaslight Boomies into saying that they are still tanky, but they're not, okay? They can't be sat in bear form the whole key, and that is the only real thing that they can do. They're very susceptible to rot damage. They have a nice defensive on a 1 minute cooldown in Bart skin, but I mean, honestly, apart from that, they don't really have much answers for constant incoming damage, which is what you're going to suffer in higher keys. So that really holds them back. They do obviously bring great utility. They're a druid, so you've got your Mark of the Wild, very, very valuable to your team. You got your Ursul's Vortex, your Typhoon, you got your Solar Beam, which depending on the season can be super good but niche utility as well. So Boomy is a very good spec. I just don't think it's in the same tier as Destro and BM. So I am going to put Boomy at the top of A. Yeah, they got combat res as well. Like that's the thing. I'm not going to go super in depth with every single piece of utility that all of the specs bring. I'm just going to name the main ones. For Boomy, for Feral, that's going to be your Mark of the Wild, right? Like that's, if you're asking why you're bringing a druid in general for their utility, it's because of Mark of the Wild. But yeah, druid in general, they have a plethora of utility that is super useful for the group. Yep, he's recording for a YouTube video, so nobody say fuck or bugger. I think bugger is such a funny word. Whenever I see that word, I always fucking lol. Yeah, they have bear form, which is a great defensive. But the problem is they can't do any damage when they're sat in bear form, right? So, and they can't sit in bear form the whole key. You can babysit a Boomy, but the specs, like these specs in the A+ tier, they don't need to be babysat like a Boomy does. They can hold their own while still putting out the same, if not more damage, and better. They have better damage profiles as well. Like BM's feeding kill commands into a prio target. You can feed Chaos Bolts into a prio target with Destro. Boomy is a lot of pad damage. I don't like the word pad damage because like mobs need to die, right? But if a Boomy's just deleting all the smallies or the lower HP mob, and then you're just stuck with like one high HP mob left, then you're not being efficient, right? Yeah, combat res is definitely relevant. I should have mentioned it, but like I already mentioned it for Warlock. Yeah, I don't know. I should have mentioned it, but yeah. BM kind of needs babying. I don't think so. I mean, all specs will need babysitting to an extent, unless you're like one of the super tanky specs. But BM is tanky. BM is tanky. Hey, what's up, Jake? Stream is cooking today. I wonder why. If I had to put my money on anything, I don't know. Do you reckon it's the hairline? Or I'm not sure. I'm not too sure. Hey, what's up, Dingle? What's the reason for MM and B? It's good in low keys, but its damage just falls off in higher keys when you compare it to other specs. It doesn't have great single target. Yeah. Hair is honestly looking clean, I can't lie. Stop that shit right now. Oh, we know that hairline. Huh. Doesn't really matter if it needs babysitting. If it does the most damage. Yeah, but it's not doing the most damage. Don't get me wrong, Noble. The rework is fun, and I enjoy playing MM, and you can make it work. That's the thing. I just want to kind of reiterate this as we go through. All of these specs can clear within like the top 2 or 3 keys that are being played, right? Or being timed, completed, whatever. It's just some specs are better than others, you know? It's not too early for a tier list this week after the nerfs. Advisor with a prime, thank you very much. I mean, I haven't been able to test much since the nerfs, but we can kind of get a good gauge from just reading them anyway. But this is going to be a progressive tier list that we update each week. So we're building a base right here, which is, I'm trying to be as accurate as I can, obviously. but we will change, or we will update this as the weeks go on, which I know we haven't got many weeks left, but I didn't want to start a tier list like a month out, you know? BM looks nuts. Yeah, BM is crackers right now. You own a clothing shop? Yep. Do you want to buy some merch? Don't you know your entire chat is 0.1% title holders? I mean, hey, that's better than me. I have been gapped this. So what is the title? What is title range this season now? Yeah, I hear that, Phil. I hear that. No. He said altruistic. Love Life Daily. Oh, it's 3,450. I'm not even that far off. Should I just fuck around and get title for the fun of it? Why not, hey? Next up, Shadow Priest. Now, I'm actually kind of unsure where to place Shadow Priest, because I played Void Weaver the other day and it sucks ass. I know how to play Shadow. I'm no expert by any means, but Void Weaver Shadow Priest does it heals the mobs instead of damaging them. And also, I mean, maybe that's because the tier set plays very much into your Void Eruption. I was playing DA with it because you get your extra Void Bolts from your tier set. But Archon is actually quite good, I would say. It has Shadow Priest in general has great prio damage. That's just the way that the spec functions, right? Like you put all your dots onto all the mobs and then you're just banging all of your damage into one prio mob and repeating that onto all of the other mobs. So by nature, it has a great damage profile for Mythic Plus because you can just send all of your damage into a priority mob and make sure that it dies at the same time as all the other mobs. Or maybe you kill it quicker so that it does less unavoidable AoE or something like that, right? So yeah, great prio damage, and in turn, it has great AoE damage as well. It has respectable single target damage. But all of this, I mean, mainly in the AoE sense, is provided that the mobs live long enough. But this tier list is for those higher keys, not like the tippity top, but the higher keys. So the mobs are going to live long enough for Shadow to ramp and get its damage out. But yeah, I've been getting mixed signals about this spec. From what I've tested on Archon, at least, it seems to be doing well. I know some people are really not rating Shadow right now, and then other people, like Yoda's put it in S tier and it says it's like one of the best specs in the game, which I personally haven't seen, but obviously that is Yoda's opinion, so we trust Yoda's opinion. So I think I'm going to put Shadow Priest in the A tier. It brings PI to your group, which is going to pair super nicely with any of the potential meta candidates. It's going to prop up that damage by a lot. It brings Powered Fortitude for the group, which is going to be super valuable, especially if this priest doesn't end up as meta, which it could potentially if it goes live how it is right now. And then I believe it is now the only spec in the game to still have off healing, which is just insane for your group. Like if you have a big pool with lots of unavoidable AoE damage going out, the Shadow Priest just covers all of that. And yeah, your healer doesn't even need to stress really. So that is something that is now only belongs to the Shadow Priest, I think. So inherently that makes this spec a lot better. I think I'm gonna put Shadow just behind Boomy in A. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure where I want to place this, but I think that is probably a safe bet for Shadow at this current state. No, Nature's Vigil is still a talent for Druids, I think, but it's just nowhere near as good as Vampiric Embrace, right? Appreciate it, Jinxed. No, Ellie, Shaman lost Ancestral Guidance. They don't have Ancestral Guidance anymore, so they don't have off heals. Yeah, Nature's Vigil is nowhere near what a Vampiric Embrace or Ancestral Guidance is. Shadow's just going to be so awkward to play if Disc is meta. Then you'll have two PIs, and that doesn't work with Org. Whoa, spoilers! Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's kind of, this is like the gray area, is I don't know. I don't really like ranking specs based off of if another spec of their class is already meta. Because that depends on the tuning. That therefore means that you're ranking a spec dependent on the tuning of a different spec. Like, I kind of just like to rank them on what they bring themselves and not really look too much at the rest of the group. But it's kind of such a contradictory thing to say, because like bringing a battle res to the group is very, very valuable, and it becomes even more valuable if the rest of the comp doesn't have a battle res. I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tricky one, but I don't really want to penalize Shadow Priest for disc potentially being meta. I hope I'm making sense. Van Man with a prime, appreciate you. Thank you very much, my friend. I have a Lock Priest and a Mage. I don't like Destro, currently between Shadow and Fire. Is that just dependent on power, or what's the first icon in A+? That is Beast Mastery Hunter, Philip. Yoda ranked Shadow Priest S tier. Yeah, I don't know if he changed it in his most recent video, but it was in S tier, which I thought was crazy. But I mean, it's Yoda, right? So he probably knows something that we don't. That's fair, but even asked Zorthus. I asked in Zorthus chat, you chatted? What the hell? What you thought about Shadow Priest, because I saw he was testing it and he doesn't rate the damage. Yeah, I mean, we saw Void Weaver the other day, but I think Archon does like good damage. Like, I tested Archon near the start of PTR, right? Or no, not even near the start, like a week or two ago. And I was super rusty on Shadow Priest, and we were still putting out like decent numbers. And then you've got to just, like, Shadow Priest is in A tier because of its utility. Otherwise, it might be like top of B, I would say. It's also like relatively tanky as well. Like, you always have 20% DR on demand pretty much through your fade and your flash heal of yourself. You've got Desperate Prayer, you've got Dispersion, you've got your shields as well. So you can't really fault Shadow too much in terms of damage reduction. Seb with the Prime, thank you very much. Holy, little hype train going. Are you doing a fun / playstyle tier list? Yeah. I'm not sure if I'll do it in the format of a tier list. I might instead do it in like a scripted video, like a full melee comparison, mostly based on like fun. And I'll do the same for ranged, of course, as well. Shadow Priest is strong when paired with the rest of Shaman or Druid. How come, Blim? PI on Boomy. Oh, well, yeah, I don't know. I just assumed that Blim was talking about Resto Druid. All the Starfalls. I mean, PI goes crazier on other specs, to be fair. Who is S plus DPS? Wouldn't you like to know, buddy? If the Shadow Priest is doing their damage over time and the healer is doing their healing over time. Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense, I guess. Nice wardrobe. Is it really that intrusive, my wardrobe being behind me? Appreciate you coming through, Jack. Good to see you, my friend. Have a good weekend, buddy. And a lovely little Valentine's. Okay, it's time for everybody's favorite range specs. It is the mage specs. So we'll first start with Frost. Frost has very, very good overall damage, but more specifically, it has crazy good priority and single target damage. Like, the mages that I played with and seen on beta have had Glacial Spike and Ice Lance near, if not their top overall damage, which is cracked. All while they're also keeping up with the other specs on the overall, if not beating them, right? So to have all of your damage almost be priority damage, and the AoE added on top of that, that is an ideal damage profile because you're just deleting those scary mobs from existence, and you've got great boss damage as well. Logain with the gifted sub. Thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the subs today, gang. Holy moly. Do I have... Oh, yeah, my sub goal has reset. Nice. Will you be my Valentine? The wife left me on red. I'll be all of your Valentine's, chat. Don't you worry about that, all right? We can all flirt with each other. So, Blizzard, unfortunately, keeps getting nerfed. I was kind of enjoying Blizzard being like your top AoE dam. Don't get me wrong, it was not fun to press Blizzard on single target. That was weird. That felt super weird. But I was enjoying a little change up of the damage profile and having Blizzard on top of your AoE damage. But regardless, the AoE damage from Frost is still super solid. But it has been nerfed again, so you are losing a slight bit of AoE damage. Don't worry, it will still be completely fine. As a mage, you have, well, as a Frost mage specifically, you have double block, so you're pretty much unkillable with the rest of the defensives that Frost or mage brings in general. You bring Arcane Intellect to the group, which is one of the best buffs in the game. And also, a final piece of invaluable utility is Mass Barrier. I've been playing a lot of the different DPS specs on PTR, and although I'll get memed for it, I have missed pressing Mass Barrier to save the group. So, Frost Mage is definitely going in the A+ tier. It's just a mage, right? It's going to be better than these two specs just because it's mage diff. So, top of the A+ for now, but not for long, because next we have the Fire Mage, which I think I'm also placing in the A+. It's going to be the very tippity top of the A+ tier. Arguably even S tier, I'm not sure, but that's the thing. With Fire and Frost, you can very easily swap out. But Fire Mage, you have ridiculous combust uptime, so now you have damage for every single pack. And if you don't have combust, sorry, you'll have combust up for every single pack, if not multiple times a pack. It is absurd right now. Blizzard, please don't nerf how the gameplay works and the fun of it, because it's super fun getting combust up all the time. Just nerf the numbers, okay? Please, and thank you. Both the Flame Strike and Ignite build of Fire seems very, very good right now. From what I've tested, I've seen Ignite Fire Mage keeping up with Flame Strike. It might depend on the dungeon, but if Ignite is anywhere near close to the Flame Strike build for Fire, you're always going to play Ignite Fire Mage, which is even better because, again, you're deleting a priority target while just completely passively burning everything else to the ground and doing incredible AoE DPS, which also means that you have great single target damage as well. You really can't fault any damage profile of Fire Mage. And then if you need the big pad damage, you can play the Flame Strike build instead. So yeah, that's the damage covered for Fire. Again, being a mage is unkillable. You also have a cheat death, which is arguably better than having double block, because you might be hit by something you're not expecting. Something might go wrong. It happens in Mythic Plus, and you're still alive. You're still able to pump out your full DPS. Instead of being sat on the floor, you bring Arcane Intellect and you bring Mass Barrier. So you really just cannot fault the Fire Mage in any way at all. I think... What do we think, chat? Are we going A+ or S for Fire? Help me out here. Am I going to do any more Blood DK bids? I got to Keystone Hero, my friend. It's S for sure. Oh, that is one thing, actually. They're not getting the Hyperthread wrist wraps, are they? I feel like Blizzard knew if they reintroduced the Hyperthread wrist wraps, then Fire was 100% guaranteed to be meta. And then it would be S+ by itself. Needs testing. Yeah, maybe I'll put it in needs testing, actually. Yeah, okay. I was going to put it in A+, but I think either A+ or S tier is a very solid placing for the Fire Mage. This spec is a beast right now, but Frost is not too far behind. Like, you might end up playing Frost in some keys, who knows? They are both very, very good specs as it stands. Appreciate all the follows, people. Good to have you here. I don't get that in PTR right now. BM Hunter is clapping everyone. Yeah, but it's more so about the damage profiles and what it brings overall, right? Like the damage profile, yeah, BM. I mean, I don't even know if BM does do more damage than Fire Mage. And also BM does have, like, I'm not convinced BM is going into the patch as it is right now. I feel like it's still got some things that are bugged. I know Journal says can't be used above 60, but plate braces have an on use from workshop that have dropped and do work. Now, I don't... Yeah, but they would be on the vendor, wouldn't they? Because they would want to test out the Hyperthread wrist wraps specifically for fire. So I highly doubt that the Hyperthread wrist wraps are in. You know? I saw... Wait, what's that? You saw Preheat playing on PTR with them? Wait, are they in then? I don't know. That seems stupid to me that they wouldn't test the Hyperthread wrist wraps on the PTR. Boomy that bad? A is a very good placing, Jeeve. Don't you worry, my friend. I know it looks like it's far from the top, but Boomy is top of A tier, I think, overall. So, like, A is a very good spot to be. Very good spot to be. What's up, Johnny? They're on the vendor. Huh? What's up, Avery? As a BM main, I can assure you that the damage will drop by another 5 to 10%, 5 to 8% by the time life happens. Yeah. Yes, sir. Okay, finally for the mage then, we have the Arcane Mage. Now, Arcane has seen many changes going into Season 2, so I think people are still like dabbling with what the optimal build will be. I know, I can't remember the exact name of the talent, but I've been testing with the talent down in the bottom right. I've now seen builds where people are playing High Voltage, Arcane Harmony, Magi Spark, and Orb Barrage, which seems like a super fun casino build that does decent AoE damage as well, but I need to see more of it. I don't think Arcane is definitely not on par with the other two mage specs. It's still a mage spec, so it's going to get points for that. And it's still Arcane, so it still has amazing priority damage and great single target damage as well in their cooldowns. But I think it just lacks on their mass AoE, right? I'd kind of love to see an Arcane Explosion build for Arcane in one season. Just for one season, see how it feels. Because that's where they kind of fall behind, right? Is they have great cleave damage as well, but the damage output is just not there when compared to the other specs that are higher up on the list. And it's also, it seems to be very RNG dependent as well. With the change from Aether Vision into Intuition, that feels horrible. So you're spending less barrages. This is all, as I said, going to depend on the build that you end up playing. But yeah, I just don't think Arcane is looking too hot right now. Again, a mage spec, so you have unlimited defensives. You bring Arcane Intellect to the group, and also you bring Mass Barrier to the group. I'm going to put Arcane at the top of B. I think maybe it could be low A, but I'm going to stick with top of B for now. Lay Drinker. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, where the Arcane Blast like echoes. But again, it's just more cleave damage, isn't it? I feel like Arcane really does lack in like mass AoE. And then, yeah, it hits like a wet noodle outside of cooldowns. So there's other specs that hit like a truck inside their cooldowns, but then also still pump outside of their cooldowns. Like your BM Hunters. Fire always has its cooldowns, so yeah. Good to see Fire Mage up there. You could go, appreciate the prime, my friend. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love to see a meta of like Feral, MM, Aflock. I'd love to see that shit. But I'm, as a mage main in season 1 and thinking about mage for season 2, I'm kind of glad to see Fire high up. Or like, I take that back actually. I don't care if mage is meta. Like, even if I'm going to main it, I don't care if mage is meta. But I want fire to be the go-to mage spec. It's just so fun, man. So fun. MM. Mage would never not be meta. It's too well designed. Yeah, I mean, Mage is Blizzard's little baby, isn't it? It is indeed. No problem, Omega. You continue to gatekeep those specs, my friend. Honestly, I just want to play a meta season with Arcane. I mean, you sort of had one at the start of season 1, right? Fire's always been meta. I do agree with you, Eli, there. Like, that's why I'm hesitant to say that I want to see Fire meta again, because I know it's like dominated for so long alongside Org. But yeah, it's just the most fun mage spec, so I want to see at least be the top mage spec, you know? Is Sun Fury hard for Fire like it was for Arcane? Nah. No, I don't think there's as many conditions. You can play Fire Mage to a very decent level without, like, min-maxing your Sun Fury. I can't remember the last time Mage was good. No, neither can I. It's been one whole season, bro. What the hell? Are we going to be playing Sun Fury Fire Mage in Season 2? It looks like it. I hope so. That's the thing. The way that Fire Mage is playing right now, it's just turbo fun, man. It's so fun. Can you scroll a bit? Where's the... There we go. Oh, yeah, but now that's changed up the whole video. Okay, Elemental Shaman. Yeah, I might need a little bit of help with ranking this, because I haven't seen too many, and I haven't played much of it myself. But as far as I'm aware, Ellie has great overall damage right now. It's super bursty, and it has great prio damage as well. Yeah, it's just a good overall package at the moment. Great AoE too. It is relatively target capped with its AoE potential though, because a lot of your damage is Chain Lightning, which is obviously target capped. And after Enhance has just been nerfed, I feel like the gap is closer between Enhance and Ellie now. But I do still feel like Enhance is the better choice of the two. But I think Ellie's in a good spot right now. I think it's in a very good spot. Brings great utility to the group. You obviously did lose Ancestral Guidance, but you have your Cap Totem. You have the shortest kick in the game. You've got your Poison Cleansing Totem, which isn't going to see the use that it's seen in Season 1. That shit's been OP in Season 1, but I don't think it's going to be that valuable in Season 2. Ellie always deserves S tier from the awesome visuals of their Chain Lightning Master Spam. Hey, retweet that. Retweet that shit. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with near the top of A for Elemental. Yeah. Definitely top of A. Could maybe be subbed in with Boomy. Like I said, I would need to see more of Elemental because I haven't seen too much of it on PTR. The only person I've seen play it is Petco, and that man can make it look S tier in its worst state. But yeah, regardless, like near the top of A tier, a very, very, very decent spec. Yeah, the PCT is not going to be getting a lot of value at all. The only two I'm torn between currently are Windwalker Monk and Unholy DK. What, for maining that, Luke? What's up, Naj? No, you pumped on it, Valari. Season 1 was pretty much a melee season. I mean, that's the thing, right? Is that in the beta of Season 1, like pre-Season 1, everyone was like, oh my god, this is the most anti-melee season ever. What are we going to do? It's going to be another range season. And then look how it ended up. It was a pretty much full-on melee meta. And we're getting the same similar vibes for Season 2. Like, everyone's complaining about how hard it is for melee. And I do agree, especially with some dungeons, but I don't think, like, that matters. Like, what matters for the meta is how much output these specs can put out, right? While living and bringing utility to the group. What the hell, Seb? Why did BM drop down to A+? Did they change something? Fire's just better. BM is insane right now, but it doesn't bring the same value in damage that Fire brings. And I think also BM is like slightly bugged right now. BM doesn't buff your org. I mean, valid. Valid. Here's another one that I need help with, chat. Dev, I haven't seen much of it. Dev is just always overshadowed by its step bro augmentation. It's had small buffs across the board in this most recent tuning. And I feel like Dev's, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Dev's in this nice state where you can switch up your hero talents, like depending on the dungeon. So maybe for your Theatre of Pains, you might want to play Scale Commander, where you can cleave your Disintegrates and get more value out of like a cleave build. Or in mass AoE dungeons like your Mother Loads, you can play your Flame Shaper and do bigger mass AoE damage. Dev's got crazy high burst potential like it always does. I mean, some of the numbers that it puts out at the start of packs are scary. They bring Zephyr and Rescue as well, which are super, super valuable to the group. Really helps babysit those squishier classes, which Dev is not. Dev, I wouldn't say Dev's tanky, but it's got 2 charges of Obsidian Scales. You've got your Renewing Blaze, you've got your Zephyr, and you've got your Rescue. So it brings decent defensives, it brings good utility as well. I just haven't seen, the only person I've seen play it is Sainsbury's. Needs testing, and by needs testing, I mean needs deleting, because why the fuck would you ever invite a dev evoker? I mean, why don't we just delete evoker? How about that? Dev will never matter until Org is gone. Well, that's the thing, right? If Dev does an insane amount of damage, then it could be played alongside Org, but it just doesn't currently do that. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen too much of it because nobody plays this spec. I respect people that do play it. I've got a lot of respect for them. But I'm going to place Dev somewhere in the middle of B tier. I think I'm going to put it behind AF in front of MM. Like I said, don't pay too much attention, especially on the lower end of the tier list, as to where I'm placing them within their respective tiers. If they're B tier, they're B tier. If they're A tier, they're A tier. I'm trying to do my best, but it is a difficult task. Luke with the tier 1. Thank you very much, brother. The top dev player is not in the 0.1% title range, as far as I know, only spec. That's crazy, isn't it? Org needs to be reworked into a tank. I think, hate me, but I think we just get rid of Evoker, you know? I loved it until they introduced Org, then I unsubscribed. What, you loved WoW until they introduced Org? BM is over MM again. Yes, by a landslide. BM is crazy good right now. Appreciate the kind words, Luke. Thank you very much, my friend. Watching on YouTube. What's up, Patar? Oh, you were playing Dev, and then you unsubscribed. I see. Okay, is this... I don't know what's wrong with my throat. Okay, this is the last range then, isn't it? We'll save the best until last, I guess. We have the Augmentation Evoker. Now, it seems like no matter what nerfs this spec receives, it's still always going to be mandatory until the end of time. I don't get it. Get it gone. Get rid of it. It is doing some insane damage itself. like even like in the game on details, some pulls your Org Evokers are like being predicted to be the top damage, which like you never really see, right? You have to delve into the logs to really see how much work Org is actually doing. But even on details, Org is looking insane right now, which means you know there's a problem. The spec is disgusting right now, and all while still doing that insane DPS itself, it's still bringing buffs to the group. Now, obviously, it did lose its tank and healers buffs, but saying that, it still brings your blistering scales for your tank, still brings source of magic to your healer, and you can still get the extra verse from the moats that spawn. I mean, if you're asking me, I don't think I've ever even seen a moat spawn, but maybe that's just Vesp awareness, who knows? Rescue and Zephyr, like I mentioned for Dev, I mean, it just feels more valuable and all because Org is just a better spec in every sense of the word. But they are incredibly valuable in Mythic Plus. Like, I don't know how you can play the highest of keys without these abilities. They are just too good defensively for your whole team. They have so many stops just naturally through their rotation, which helps negate so much damage by just passively stopping mobs on their casts. And even they have like all the other small utility points as well, with your timelessness to help out your enhancers in season 1, for example. Who knows what that will be needed to use in season 2. And then you have like Wernstone for skips in niche situations as well for better routing or more optimal pathing. Org's disgusting right now. It is the best DPS spec in the game so far on this tier list anyway. We'll see if anything clears it. But yeah, I don't think Org and Fire are the two best DPS specs in the game as it stands, I would say. Definitely Org. Like I said, Fire could be a little bit further down into the A+ tier, but I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. But that is what the ranged DPS tier list is looking like. So we got Org and Fire on top, Dev and MM towards the bottom, unfortunately. But that being said, like, B tier is still a good ranking. I know it doesn't look good right now because of the disparity, and they are the lowest specs on the tier list so far. But like, B tier is still a good placing, right? And that's what I'm trying to say, is I feel like DPS balancing in season 2 for the most part seems pretty balanced at the moment. Is there anything else that I want to say about that? About ranged? I don't know. I logged off for a bit and you went and put Shadow on A tier. Are you still playing Shadow, Coach? I don't think Shadow has its own damage. I don't think it has enough of its own damage to be A+ or S at the moment. Wait, who's that, Omega? You're going to roll this into melee as well? Yeah. So we're going to go straight into melee now. I'm going to turn it into 2 videos on YouTube. What's good, YouTube? Org does less damage than the tank, so bad DPS. Not anymore. Not anymore. Yeah, Yamas. I mean, I definitely can see BM getting nerfed for sure. But, I mean, hopefully they don't kill it, right? I feel like they don't normally kill BM. I feel like they normally leave BM in quite a good spot. Okay. Right then. Let's move on to the melee. So I'm going to just place this onto the ranged DPS tier list that we've already done to create a comprehensive DPS tier list in terms of power, rank them all against each other. We'll start with the warrior specs. Now, Arms has just been giga buffed out the wazoo. Not entirely sure how it's looking after that because we haven't been able to play PTR, but I would say Arms is the better of, definitely the better of the 2 warrior specs right now. It's got great mass AoE damage. It's going to have good single target damage as well after these buffs. A lot of single target buffs were implemented. Where are my Arms notes? Wait, what notes? Vesp, I thought you were just freestyling all of this off the top of the dome. I am, guys. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it, okay? Yeah, it's previously Arms has struggled with its single target damage in its Mythic Plus build. So It's good to see that Arms is now doing decent single target damage too. But the problem with Warrior in general is that it just lacks utility. They're relatively fine defensively. Fury is probably the better of the two defensively because you have the passive self-sustain as well. But they just bring nothing to their group. So their damage needs to be mental to compensate. And I just don't think it's at that spot right now. So Arms we're going to put into the A tier. I'm going to put... Ooh, this is tricky, man. Where am I going to put it? What's it? Oh yeah, Boomy's already been placed, Fox. Top of A. Which is a very good ranking, by the way. I know it doesn't look great right now because it's like kind of mid, but like we haven't put any specs in the C's here yet. Yeah, they do bring Battle Shout, and if we have like a BM Hunter meta with maybe a few other physical damage dealers, then Battle Shout does have its value, but it's still not enough to bring a Warrior to your group unless they are pumping their socks off. This is hard to rank because we haven't seen any of Arms since the buff. So I know it's going in A tier. I'm going to just be safe with it and put Arms in the middle of A for now, okay? Am I happy with that? I think I am. Honestly, a Warrior is always going to be a Warrior, not going to be above A tier unless it's one shot in the whole dungeon. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, what do they need? They need more utility, right? But like, in terms of what? I don't know what they can bring. I think the problem with Warrior is even if it's really good, it's still played by Warrior mains, so it's fucking useless in any kind of hard content. Listen, chat, that was me. I was just reading out chat, okay? Promised. That's not my own opinion. Swear. Is Battle Shout just worse than Arcane Intellect because there are less good physical classes? Yeah. Yeah, basically, yeah. You get more value out of your Arcane Intellect. Mass Spell Reflect. See, that's the kind of shit that you think about and you're like, don't be so fucking stupid. That is so ridiculously OP. but then Mage gets Mass Barrier. Don't worry, mate. Warrior mains that won't get offended, mainly because they won't be able to read Omega's comment. Yeah, but I read it out for them. I mean, Warriors should have Bloodlust. I don't know why that is not already a thing. But that's kind of irrelevant for bringing them. Like, you're probably already likely to have a Bloodlust in your group anyway. So, yeah. Lust Shout, Mass Reflect. Mass Reflect could actually go kind of hard. Imagine that. God, there would be some scenarios where that would be turbo broken. Like a boss or a mob does like an AoE magic spell and everyone just Mass Reflects it and just fucking one-shots the boss. That'd kind of be sick though. I like it. Okay, Fury Warrior. Fury is actually decent as well. Like the damage output from Fury is very good too. It's got great cleave and great single target damage, as well as sustained damage, but the sustain comes from the fact that your cooldowns are so short, right? The problem with Fury Warrior is that it is so heavily target capped. Like, it feels awful rushing into a pack of 10 to 15 mobs and you're only hitting 5 of them, right? Like, that is just not a desirable damage profile in the slightest. You're just going to nuke down 5 of them and then they're all going to die at different times. It's just not efficient at all. Their execute damage is good as well because of their Bloodthirst. And they can sort of keep up on mass AoE, but like I said, it's mainly like they're only damaging 5 targets, right? Which is no bueno. And again, unfortunately, Warriors just lack the utility. I think Arms is just going to outpace Fury in terms of damage now as well. So I'm going to be placing Fury lower than Arms. Fury does have more self-sustain, so the healers don't have to pay as much attention to the Fury Warriors as the Arms Warriors themselves. I'm going to place Fury in the B tier. I'm going to put it behind AF. There we go. Big B. Big B. You can give them Lust or Battle Res and they would make... That would make sense thematically. I mean, Lust definitely makes sense for Warrior. I can't believe it hasn't been in the game since Vanilla. But I don't know about Battle Res, but I mean, you can make that work, right? You could make that work. Where ass Rogue? Oh, we're on to Rogue now. There you go, Omega. Little bicep flex for you. Not gonna lie, Arms and Fury are at the same spot right now. I don't agree. Like I said, I haven't seen Arms since the buffs, but I think Arms is already in a good spot and it's just been turbo buffed. So I think Arms is going to be putting out some numbers now. They can make it so warriors can join keys as a sixth man, but they don't get to control their character. Like when you give your little bro a controller to play with the PlayStation, but it's not plugged in. Oh, God. The rage bait. Tis a yappy stream. Is PTR up yet? Or is PTR still down right now? I don't know. Let's move on to the rogue specs now. Now, I mentioned at the start of the vid that there are 2 specs that I still need to test further because they've been bugged for the whole of PTR. Pretty sure Assassination is now no longer bugged, but I'm not 100% convinced on that. And Sub-Rogue is still bugged out its ass, I'm pretty sure. Like, you're just not losing the tier set stacks, or you're just not gaining them at all. So, unfortunately, both of these specs are going to go into the needs more testing tier. Asa has a great damage profile in general, so if it's tuned well, it will be a very decent spec. And Sub, I don't know if there's an iteration of bugs at the moment where Sub is not bugged. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I don't know if, because it basically depends on like who's playing or what character the Sub Rogue is as to what kind of bug it has. I don't know if anyone's been able to log on to Sub without any bugs at all, but I think Sub is actually going to be very good by the looks of things. But again, I don't know if that's just because I've seen Sub Rogues play, but they're just bugged and not losing any tier set stacks. So we'll have to see with those 2. I'll hopefully get to test some Asa this week, and hopefully the bugs with Sub will be fixed as well. Yeah, exactly. The tier set is near enough a 30% perma damage buff because it's not losing stacks. Yeah. That can't be right. That can't be right now. Vest when he sees Asa / Sub a bug so he doesn't have to embarrass himself playing them on stream. Hey, listen, I can play Asa somewhat now. I can get away with playing Asa, okay? Tuned. It's Tuesday, isn't it? But yeah, Sub's a different kettle of fish. I still need to learn how to play Sub. Yeah, this will be going up on YouTube. I feel like I've done a really bad job on this tier list of using like different descriptive words. I keep saying respectable. I keep saying valuable. Yeah, I don't know. That's true, Dan. That's true. You guys were there with me at the start. You watched me go from a Padawan to a master. I'd love you play your Asa next season. Huh? What? Watching MDI, you can make a drinking game where you drink every time they say volatile, really? Right, next up. So this is the only rogue spec that I can really reliably rank as of now. We have the Outlaw Rogue. Now, I feel like my view on this spec was somewhat scuffed by the fact that I played with Tom Elvis at the start of the PTR cycle, and he was doing things on this spec, let me tell you. But regardless, Outlaw is still in a good spot. It has good single target damage and it has great priority damage as well because of the way that their AoE act, where they're just passively blade flurrying all of their single target damage onto 8 mobs around them. That is the problem in itself, though. It is target capped. Though how many times are you really pulling over 8 mobs? It depends on the dungeon. It will be good in some dungeons like your Theatre of Pains, maybe your Floodgates as well. But this spec always has damage because of the way the spec works, with everything always being reduced in cooldown. You always have your cooldowns rolling, so it just has a very consistent damage profile. You're getting extra buff now out of the tier set as well. So I feel like Outlaw is in a good spot. Not anything crazy. I wouldn't write home about the spec, but because yeah, it just does lack the juice that the other specs do possess on this tier list. I think for Outlaw, I'm gonna go... Whoa, I haven't even talked about utility. It's a rogue, so it brings great utility. You've got an AoE stop with blind. You've got multiple stuns. You've got your sap if you need to skip mobs, and also your shroud to help path for optimal routing. Maybe you can get your lust on cooldown earlier, or in a more optimal place because of the rogue that you're bringing. It's a rogue as well, so they're great defensively too. They have Cloak Shadows. They've got Feint off the GCD, which is actually huge because that basically means, I mean, Cheat Death is a great talent as well, but if you're a good rogue, you can play Elusiveness and then you know when the damage is going to come in and you can just reduce so much of your overall damage taken with good Feint usage, which you don't even, like, you're not going to get caught out in a global now and not be able to press Feint. You got, did I mention Evasion? I can't remember if I mentioned Evasion. And wait, no, I think that's Deathstalker. So yeah, Outlaw's in a good spot. I'm going to place Outlaw, I think, at the bottom of A. If it wasn't as target capped, then it could probably climb higher. Just soft cap Outlaw, please. Please. What's up, Zuko? Are there specs that you would write home about? I don't think anyone would care if you did, if I'm honest, mate. Well, as I do have my own yard right now, I could write home to Bailey, and he might be interested, you know? So technically, maybe. Dear Mum, Outlaw is great. Love, best. There we go. Sub 8 it. I mean, you can't rate sub right now. It's been 2 bugged, and it still is bugged. I do think sub is likely to be the best of the rogue specs as it stands, but that's kind of bounded off of like nothing. I don't think target caps are that big of a deal. Outlaw can hit up to 8 targets. Well, yeah, so that's, I don't know if maybe you hadn't joined by that point, Zuko, but I did say how many times, like in your Theatre of Pains, you're not going to be pulling above like 8 mobs, are you? Or you're, I mean, maybe you're doing Floodgate. What's the other low target? Oh, Workshop. I think target caps are relevant, or very relevant, when you're talking about 5 targets, but when you're talking about 8 targets, you're most of the way there, right? No, you're good. Do you think BM is Gucci playable in random Mythic Plus? Yeah, BM's insane right now. And BM's one of those specs where, especially in a pugging environment, it's not like a Fire Mage or like a Destro Lock where you might send your 2-minute cooldown on like a average pack and then your tank goes and pulls the world after it. That doesn't matter for BM. You're going to do damage regardless. It just always has damage. Yeah, exactly, Zuko. Put Sub-Rogue in S tier right now so I get invited to groups. Oh, go on in. BM did get nerfed. I think it's still somewhat bugged, but also Dan's been saying that apparently Animal Companion, I don't think this change was documented, but apparently Animal Companion is now working with a tier set as well. So both of your pets are, what, Dan? Are they both doing the mutagen attack, which is also increasing or reducing the cooldown of your Bestial Wrath even more? How do you know that, Dan? Is that something you've seen on a stream or what? I will actually Kermit. I'm stealing that, Morkan. Oh, it's in the Hunter Discord. Okay, I see. Okay. Next up then, we have the last of the Hunter specs. We got the Melee Survival Hunter. Again, this has just been buffed. This seems to be getting buffed like pretty much every week at this point. Fury of the Eagle is now going to be doing even more AoE DPS. It was already one of your top contenders in AoE packs. But apart from that, I just feel like the damage of Survival is just very lackluster. I don't know if it's to do with Coordinated Assault not being a very impactful cooldown, but it just never really feels like you have a massive high when you're playing Survival. It's got like fine single target, fine cleave, fine AoE, but that's just kind of where it stays, right? It never has these high moments where you're absolutely blasting. God, that was a throwback to the old Vest base. Just kind of feels like it never really gets off the ground. And I think that is probably due to the lack of an impactful cooldown. And then doesn't really bring anything else. It's a Hunter, so it has gained more utility, but like I was saying earlier for BM and MM, the utility that Hunter brings is very finicky, and you have to do a whole lot of work with like comboing your traps and stuff to make them worth it. And Survival is actually solid in terms of tankiness as well. You get the extra damage reduction as well from your Mastery, making you even tankier. So I wouldn't say that survivability is a problem for Survival, thankfully. But yeah, I think it just needs a buff to its numbers, to be honest. It does have some nice priority damage, especially because of the tier set you get. If you're playing Pack Leader, you get those Giga Raptor Strikes that can also be cleaved, so you get some nice cleave out of that as well. But I just think the numbers aren't there for Survival, so... Ooh. I'm gonna put Survival... Ooh, where am I putting Survival? I'm leaning towards bottom of B. What are we thinking about that, chat? When MM Hunter hits True Shot, it feels like you're a god. Coordinated Assault almost does nothing. Yeah, I mean, it does nothing for your gameplay, but it also, like, you don't feel it in terms of damage as well either, right? November with the Prime, and appreciate all the follows, guys. Thank you, November. Yes, Dooms, we'll be releasing the Plater profile. Me and Seb are gonna get on that probably at some point this next week, and then I'll have to make a video about it, and then the Plater will be released for you. It'll be live before the season goes live, okay? Affliction, despite being my favorite spec, is probably C tier unless it gets overly buffed. I think Affliction's kind of slept on right now, in my opinion at least. I think it does good damage. I think it does good damage. It's just not the other lock specs, right? Survival. Ooh. Let me just... So what else have we got left? Are we saying Survival is the worst spec in the game right now, chat? I mean, it's going to be regardless. It's just whether I put it in C tier or not. Oh, Jack's back. Let's go. Happy is fine, except anything you need to cycle through every target if Seed is on. Do you mean Voltane? Yeah. Nomo with a tier 1. Appreciate you, Nomo. Thank you very much. Bum, 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 bum. Put it in the C tier for the case of aesthetics. Yeah, I do feel like if I don't put something in the C tier, then it was pointless having a C tier, right? Sorry, Survival mains. We're going C tier for the Survival Hunter. Because I don't think anything else is going to go in the C tier. Looking to main Warlock? What spec? I'm leaning Warlock right now, yeah. I don't know. It would be between Demo and Destro. I'd probably swap it up. Yeah, list. This is a DPS tier list only, but we are also factoring in utility and defensives for all of these specs as well. Right. Havoc Demon Hunter. Now, I played Havoc Eldrazi the other day. Granted, I don't really have a clue how to play Havoc, and I completely fumbled the bag and did 0 damage. But I feel like Havoc has gone completely under the radar. I think this is one, especially after the recent buffs that it's just had, I think this is one of the best specs in the game right now. I just feel like it's severely underrated, and it just got another flat 5% buff and other buffs on top of that. I've been watching Kush play it, and yes, it is Kush. The man is a god, but he has been dominating on this spec. Eldrazi Reaver has crazy good priority damage at the same time as doing insane AoE damage. Like, I'm pretty sure I saw Kush like doubling the priority damage of the other specs in his group. You're just funneling all of that damage into a main target while passively cleaving on everything around you. And you have great AoE damage from like your Rage Fires. You have great cleave damage from your Soul Scars, great single target damage. You really do bring the whole package here. I think you could bring even more mass AoE damage if you talent into Felsguard instead. Though I do think Eldrazi Reaver is better right now. And also, because of Soul Scar, you have great sustain damage as well. It just feels like the spec never falls off. And I haven't really seen anybody talking about it, which I'm kind of confused by. It's got great self-sustain through its leech while you're in meta. It's got short defensives in Blur. You bring darkness for your group as well. And Chaos Brand will be very valuable for what is shaping up to be the meta. Now, like I said earlier, I can't remember what other spec it was. Shadow Priest. I don't want to knock Havoc for the fact that Vengeance is looking to be the meta tank pick, right? Because you're probably already getting a Chaos Brand from a VDH if a VDH ends up being meta. But I don't want to base Havoc's ranking off of the current tuning of VDH. Because if VDH then gets tuned or nuked, then Havoc is going to become just much more valuable. Or just a better pick in general. So I'm going to kind of ignore the fact that VDH is shaping up to be the meta tank right now. I think Havoc's nuts. I'm kind of scared to put it in S tier, but I'm going to put it at the top of A+, I think. This spec is a joke right now. What if Havoc gets tuned or nuked? Hey, we'll see it right down to the C tier alongside Survival. Yeah, it probably is S tier. I'm just a little bit hesitant to put it in there because I haven't seen too much of it. The only gameplay that I've really seen from it is Kush, and it's Kush, right? So I'm going to be reserved with my placing, but it's, yeah, it could easily slip into the S tier. I was actually kind of like looking at Havoc and thinking, ooh, what if I mained Havoc for a tier? Because I used to love Havoc. I say it all the time, but I used to love Havoc until Momentum was a thing, but it's gone now. What should I replace my Survival with? BM just gets too boring. Go Havoc, Jack. So it's like C tier needs 20% aura buff, then B 15%. I don't feel like you're too far off there, Asa. Hey, let's go, Bouncing Souls. Appreciate the kind words, my friend. Thank you very much. Good to see you, my friend. Would it actually be insane for you to main DH as well because you have Mage Tower Glaives? Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. How is Frost DK on single target? We'll get to Frost in a second. Next up, we have the Feral Druid. Again, much like Havoc, I feel Feral is a very criminally underrated spec. It's got great sustain damage, especially in AoE, because your rips are just constantly ticking for high damage, while you're feeding all of your bites, ravages, and free bites into a priority target, and you're nuking down a priority target But that's not all, because then those single target priority bites are also cleaving and can do some amazing AoE damage themselves. So it's like, honestly, Feral has like the best damage profile in the game in terms of AoE. It also has crazy high burst on a 2-minute cooldown thanks to your Berserk and Convoke Wombo combo, which is good in single target, good in cleave, good in AoE as well. So Feral's damage is nuts right now, honestly. And also, with all of these free Apex procs you're getting, that's doing even more priority damage through your tier set, but then also increasing your bleed damage, so therefore it's doing more AoE. It just like, it all perfectly plays in together. I think Feral is a demon right now. They have decent single target, which is something that they've lacked in the past in their Mythic Plus build. And they're tankier. Oh, am I going to place them higher than Boomy? I don't know. They're tankier than Boomy because they've got the survival instincts as well. They also are playing Druid of the Claw, so they can shift into bear form, retain some of that health and armor when they shift back. And they bring great utility as well because they're a Druid. They bring Mark of the Wild, nice burst buff for your whole group. They bring Incap Roar, Typhoon. You've got multiple AoE stops. I kind of want to put Feral above Boomy. I don't know. I feel like Feral is super slept on right now. I've said this for Feral for a few seasons, and I think going into season 2, I think Feral is in the best spot it's been for a long time. I think from a damage perspective, Boomy does still outshine Feral. I feel like these two are super, super close together though. Maybe Balance also benefits from the fact that it's ranged, but Feral is very, very strong right now. Doesn't keep up on prolonged boss fights. Yeah, I mean, it depends on timings. Like if you get your 2 minutes back, then you can kind of sustain back up. That doesn't make, that's completely contradictory, isn't it? You can ramp your damage back up. But yeah, it does struggle because you start to have energy problems. I say Boomy sort of wins on utility and CC as it's easier to do whilst being ranged. Yeah, I mean, dependent on the scenario, Solar Beam is an incredible piece of utility. Yeah, I mean, these two can be interchanged, I think. They're both very, very good specs right now. Okay. Now we have the Death Knight specs. So we'll start with Frost DK, which I do think is the better of the two. I think it's definitely a step down from Season 1, but it's still a great overall package. I'm not sure exactly what build you're going to be playing, because I've heard Rider, a Blit is maybe better than Breath. But, I mean, regardless, both of those builds are great. They're performing really well right now. If you're playing Breath and you have super good damage on a 2-minute cooldown and also very nice priority damage with your Breath too, and great AoE damage. If you're playing a Blit, you have more frequent burst that excels more so in Cleave. They both have very respectable single target damage as well. And because you're a Death Knight, you are basically unkillable. You have multiple defensives, you have an insanely large health pool, you have Death Strike. I didn't actually realize how insane Death Strike is. But if you have the runic power to spare, and you just don't, if you just don't be greedy on a DK basically, then Death Strike is so OP. It's real nice to play with. They have niche utility as well. They bring Anti-Magic Zone to your group, which is obviously a nice defensive for the group. You bring Death Grips, which will see use again in Season 2. I don't know if they'll be as useful as your fights like Amarth, but I know, I can't think off the top of my head, maybe like start of Dark Flame Cleft, there are mobs that like to just stand outside of the group and just spam cast. So DKs will be super nice to clump those mobs up together. Frost DK is looking pretty solid for next season. I'm going to put it in the A tier. I think it's going to be lower on the A tier. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. If you're in a coordinated group with a DK and you call for AMZ, like, then you don't have to commit an external as a healer or whatever it is. Ooh, control undead for Theatre of Pain. That's a cool idea. I forget what mobs you take hostage in Theatre of Pain, but that's the thing with DK. I feel like their utility is so niche, but when it's good, it's bloody good. You know? Only for Frost, not for Unholy. Wait, why is that? Is that because you already have a pet as Unholy and you can't have two? Or is that how that works? Thank you for all the follows, by the way, gang. You guys are smashing it. Appreciate you all watching. Ah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. What are we saying, Dan? Frost DK without your DK bias? I think it's a waste of time doing melee tier lists because melee players don't have basic reading comprehension, so they won't even know what you're saying. Well, no, because they don't have to read, you see. Like, if they had to study the tier list, I think they could just about make it out. Unholy gets a DPS loss when using Control Undead. Yeah, that's kind of crazy, isn't it? I feel like it should just be an addition. Shadowlands, the mob gave you a damage buff in top. Which one? Would you take the captain? I seem to remember people taking the captain, but I can't remember. Frost DK is probably going to be around 8. Yeah, it's going in the 8 tier. I'm just not 100% sure where. I think... Frost DK is a solid pick for next tier. I'm going to place it comfortably in the middle of A. I'll have to, like, it could be behind Arms dependent on how much damage Arms is doing, but Frost DK just does everything else better than Arms does. Except maybe damage. Unholy's probably going to be about the same mid-A because it gets so strong in big pulls. Well, this is the thing. Moving on to Unholy Death Knight now, it is absolutely monstrous on mass AoE. I didn't realize how turbo cracked it was on large AoE. But that's the thing with Unholy, isn't it? It's always this like MDI, like semi-meme spec that if you can pull big enough, then it's the best spec in the game. But outside of that, it's not too great. It has... Well, I was actually pleasantly surprised by its single target when I was playing it the other day. It feels like it's better in comparison to previous seasons. But Cleave, like Cleave, is where Unholy seems to struggle. Now, you can bridge that gap by playing Sand Lane and cleaving your death coils. I'm yet to see the power of that. But Cleave has always been Unholy's like downfall, right? It has the mass AoE, like the Festering Scythe procs are just absurd. It literally, like when I was playing it the other day, like every maybe 4th global, I was getting a Festering Scythe, and then you're just blowing up all of those wounds with your Scourge Strikes. I was probably even playing it a bit wrong. I felt like I could just ignore Epidemic and spam Scourge Strike and just pop the frick off. So, dependent on the situation, it's very situational how much damage Unholy can do. Like, it's going to be a great spec in your Mother Loads, and it's not going to be so great in your Theatres of Pain unless Sand Lane can bridge that gap nicely. Same as Frost, it's a DK, so super tanky. You've got your Icebound Fortitude, your Lichborn, Anti-Magic Shell most prominently. You've got Death Strike to heal back up any recent big damage intake. And then you bring in your Death Grips and your AMZs to your grill. I think Frost is the better choice of the two. But I think Unholy is still in a good spot. There's quite a bit of monster pools this season. I don't know, the only ones I can really think of is first pool in Workshop. Motherload pools are going to be monstrous. I guess yeah, to be fair, Cinderbrew is going to be a great dungeon for Unholy. But it doesn't bring great priority damage. It's just a lot of, again, I'm always going to say it with inverted commas, but it's a lot of pad damage, right? Whereas like your Frost DK, if you're playing well, regardless of the build you're playing, in AoE, you're still going to be nuking down a priority target, which is more valuable. What's Omega done? Unholy Death Knight is far, far more flexible than Frost. Frost had the run of its season because of Cleave in Raid. Yeah, to be like, yeah, okay. I think I was gonna place. I was gonna place Unholy in B, but I think I'm actually gonna place it in A because it does have flexibility with its builds. I think that is a super good trait for a spec to have, is to be able to switch things up dependent on what your group needs, dependent on what the dungeon is, etc., etc. So I'm gonna place Unholy near the bottom of A. I do think, like I've said, Frost is the better pick of the two. But they're in the same tier, so I mean, DKs can play either spec, right? If you're a DK main, or if you're happy to play either spec, you could play maybe your Unholy in your Cinderbrew, and your Frost DK in your Theatre of Pains, or your Floodgates. If there's already a prio damage DPS, how many do you want? I mean, it depends. It does depend. But yeah, that's also basing it off the rest of the group, right? Which is something I don't particularly like to do. Their damage profile also means you can take a massive funnel damage spec and not worry, because Unholy is going to be able to go crazy levels on your pool. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good point. Ret is S tier. Is that what you think, guys? Or is that what you know? Hey? I can't believe it's already 5 PM. I guess it's because I had a nap earlier. It was like, it's like 3 PM or something. I don't know. I don't know. The Retribution Paladin. Now, I actually haven't seen too much of Ret on beta, I think, or PTR. I think the only real time that I've seen it is playing with Relly the other day. Relly's a good Ret, so he showed a good representation of it. Ret has really high overall damage. It's kind of the same story with Ret. Great overall damage. It is a lot of pad damage. I'm not even going to use the inverted commas for that one because Rets do just pad. But they have great AoE, great mass AoE. They have great cleave damage. They do, however, lack in prio damage and single target damage. I think the single target is like improved this season, but it's still definitely not a selling point of Ret. And I do fear that that is what makes the spec fall off in higher keys. You really don't have much prio or great single target at all, but they do have super short cooldowns, so they always have damage. You can have your cooldowns multiple times a pack in higher keys, so the overall damage that they can put out is very, very, very good. But it's capped because no prio damage. Exactly. Exactly. F tier guy must have a lisp. Wait, what? Huh? Huh? Unholy is so much more fun to play than Frost. I think the same for damage. What do you think is better than Frost and damage? I think I prefer playing Unholy to Frost. I would agree with that. But I will be making a separate, like, fun tier list-esque video. Thank you for all the follows, gang. Welcome to the stream, people. At least Ret brings Crusader Aura so you can all run out of the fucking dungeon faster when they kill your key. Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. We all know how unkillable Ret is. One of probably the tankiest spec in the game, I would argue. It's very hard. Like, it's almost impressive if you die on a Ret Paladin. They bring great utility to the group. You bring in a combat res to the group. And also all your different blessings as well. Like, a good Ret will really... You can tell the difference between a good Ret and just like a mid Ret, because they will make use of all their utility. You've got your Blessings of Freedom as like a lesser piece of utility, but still can save people in a pinch. You've got your Blessing of Protection. That's actually been quite valuable in Season 1. I'm not so sure about Season 2. But I mean, just an immunity to physical damage is always a good thing, right? and your Blessing of Sacrifice. If you know that you can live the damage and you can babysit another squishier DPS or healer or whatever it is in the group, then you're able to fling these out. Also got some off heals if you really need to. Turret is a great overall package. It's just its priority and single target damage that does hold it back. I'm going to go high A for this. I think just behind Beryl. Beryl and Boomy just bring more and better damage than Rhett. Beryl brings that priority damage as well. How many times are you going to say priority damage vest? A lot, because it's very, very important. To be fair, Execution Sentence did just get a buff, didn't it? I don't know, like, I don't really know what build Rhett is playing. I don't know how impactful that is. Wait, no, was it Executions? No, Final Reckoning. Sorry, okay, yeah, okay, never mind. Irrelevant. Yeah, my bad, ICT. My bad. Got the wrong one. Wait, what's that icon you got next to your name? Blood Doom? Like a planet or something? I don't know. I'm not familiar with YouTube badges. Thank you for all the follows, gang. I feel like I'm saying everything, but we're just getting so many follows. Poggers. Surge with a follow straight into the prime. Let's go, baby. Thank you very much. You guys are killing it today. Okay, the last two melee then. We have Windwalker. Now, Windwalker has surprised me this season. This spec is blasting. Yeah, I played Windwalker myself, and I was very pleasantly surprised by the damage. I played with other Windwalkers in the group, and they've always been pumping. They are always pumping. It doesn't matter what kind of encounter it is, they are always doing great damage. They have crazy good cleave damage and even better single target damage. They are, again, capped on their spinning crane kick, so that holds them back in mass AoE, but they still can keep up in mass AoE. It's just being target capped is a problem, especially when it's a target cap of 5. Like, I feel like that just holds you back so much. Wait, spinning crane kick is 5, isn't it? Let me just double check that. Yeah, it is. Okay, nice. Nice, nice, nice. But, like, that being said, it's going to be... I mean, yeah, it's a great spec regardless, and you're not going to feel that target cap or notice it in dungeons like Theatre of Pain. I feel like this season there is quite a few dungeons where the mob density is lower. So that's going to play into Windwalker's hands perfectly. And, yeah. Also, I don't know how relevant that is. I'll say it anyway, but they are scaling with secondaries finally. So that's always been a problem of Windwalker as you go through the expansion. They tend to start off strong, but then they kind of tail off because they never scale well with secondaries, but they now scale a lot better with them. So that's going to play into their favor as well. Super tanky as a spec. You've got multiple different defensives. They did actually lose some defensives, right? Which one am I thinking of? They lost one defensive, I'm pretty sure, at least. But they bring super nice utility. You've got a short AoE stun. I think maybe the shortest AoE stun in the game in leg sweep. You can paralysis and ring of peace mobs if you want to do any skips. Ring of peace is an amazing piece of utility by itself. And oh yeah, obviously they bring Mystic Touch as well, which dependent on the group comp, like if you're seeing like a BM Hunter meta with, I mean, Havoc does get value out of it as well, or maybe an enhanced meta, then the Mystic Touch is going to be very, very sought after too. They have a cool looking tier set appearance. Yeah, and they get points for their helmet, their tier helmet. That's why I'm tempted to play Brew. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that was the same person. Yeah, fair, Jack. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Oh yeah, that's right. They lost Dampen Harm. So they did lose one defensive, but they're still a tanky spec. They have a lot of answers to incoming damage, that's for sure. Oh, is Wounded Quarry physical? Wait, is that right? I feel like Winged Quarry is such a weird name for an ability. I don't know. So yeah, Windwalker is going to be up there. Let me think. I think actually I know where I'm going to put Windwalker. It is a very good spec for Season 2. So I'm going to whack it near the top of A. I would say it's better than Ret. How does that look? Okay, I was just thinking because it's now 2 tiers inside A. I just didn't want it to look too scuffed. But it does get its damage from physical, isn't that how it is? Oh, yeah, I think it's the other way around, right? Yeah, I think that's correct. Yeah, but I really rate Feral, Epi. I really rate Feral in Season 2. And I don't feel like I'm not alone with that either. Hey, what's up, Alexandru? You're a Windwalker main, now you're grading this. This is better to change or remain. I would say, I think Windwalker is in a very good spot, and it's in a safe spot as well, where it's probably not going to get touched too much now. Yeah, guys, I mean, fire away with Windwalker. It is a lot of fun as well. When I play Windwalker, I always have a great time on it. So I'm double victorious. More cards coming out with all the one-liners today. Yeah, Havoc is, I mean, I might have even underrated Havoc Jangles. Havoc is insane right now. It could very easily be the best DPS spec in the game. I just haven't seen enough of it. Fury's good damage. Twitch chat can eat my cheeks. But it's a warrior spec. And I do think Arms is better than Fury now because of the recent buffs. Those buffs seem cracked. Okay, last up then, we have Enhancement Chamois. Now, Enhance has just been quite considerably nerfed, though I still think it's going to be a very, very good choice for Season 2. I think it's going to be up there with the greats. It was probably the best DPS in the game. I'm not sure how that weighs up now, but we'll have to see. It has it's quite flexible because you can play Stormbringer or Totemic. I think Totemic is the better of the two. I think Totemic brings more AoE overall damage, so it'll be good for your dungeons like your Motherlodes. But maybe you'll even be able to play Stormbringer in the lower mob density dungeons. So having that flexibility is a great trait to have once again. It has amazing single target damage, crazy good uncapped AoE damage because of your Wind Fury attacks and your Surging Totem in Totemic. I actually I love the fact that Wind Fury attack is like one of your highest DPS now. I think that's sick. Like when you press Doom Winds, you actually feel it now, which I think is a huge dub. It's got great cleave damage. Like it literally, you can't fault any of its damage profiles. It just outputs some crazy good damage right now. Also when in Totemic, you have super short cooldowns, so you always have damage as well. You have multiple different stops. You've got your Thunder Shock, you've got your AoE Cap Tome, you've got the shortest kick in the game. You've got your Poison Dispel, though I don't really think that's that necessary in Season 2. I feel like there's other utility that I'm forgetting for Chamois. You don't have the stop from Sundering anymore, do you? That gets taken away because of the resets that you get from it. Pretty confident with that. Oh, yo, RT. Yeah, that is going to be a big paydock, I'm afraid, buddy. And then for defensives, I mean, Enhance is one of those specs that will need to be babysat. You have Astral Shift on a short cooldown. You have your Ghost Wolf, but it's very awkward to actually use that as defensive. You have your Earth Ellie as well, but that's not a great defensive. You do also have quite potent self-healing, so if you're a good Enhance, you will know when you should be pressing Healing Surge on yourself and pretty much just topping yourself instantly. So Enhance, I still need to see after the nerfs. Like I said, PTR has been down for the last 2 days pretty much since the nerfs, but I think it's still going to be in the A+ pretty easily. I'm gonna put it at the bottom of A+. So that is my full DPS power tier list, comparing all of the specs against each other. Unfortunately, I can't rate Asa and Sub just yet. They need to have their bugs fixed, and also I just need to test them more. But we have Fire and Org at the top. I mean, arguably Havoc could be up there. I just need to see more of it. I think Havoc is disgusting right now, though. I feel super harsh putting Survival in C tier, but hey, listen, I just wanted to put something in C tier. And I would say that Survival is worse than MM. But yeah, we got MM and Dev down there with them. But remember that all of these specs can clear all of the content that you guys want to be clearing. They'll be able to clear within 2 or 3 levels of the highest keys that are being timed. So don't let it put you off of inviting these specs to your keys, because a good survival hunter is going to make it work, okay? Is there anything else that I need to yap on about? I don't know. Yodo's tested it with his friends. It seems to do close to fire mage damage. Is that enhanced, Steve? Oh yeah, I forgot about Stone Bulwark's home for enhance. Yeah, I feel like actually I might do a last minute trade out to put enhance there. I just put it down there to be safe because of the nerfs. Like the nerfs seem quite considerable, but I think if you're looking at damage profiles as well, enhance does have a better damage profile than Destro. So we'll just add this in at the end that I have changed out these two. But I mean, if you're in A+, you're in A+. Like, you've got a good chance of being a meta spec. Oh, let me press that button there. I mean, if you guys want, we can go through the tanks and healers together if you want. I don't really know anything about them though, so it's going to be all on you. I've seen Resto Shami in C tiers. I've seen Prop Pally in, like low A+ maybe. I think Vengeance is like up here. Mistweaver is up there with Disc. I think they're like interchangeable. And then the rest of them, I have no fucking idea about. What do you mean by damage profile? So, I mean, there's kind of 2 ways to think about damage profile. It's like, how good are they at the individual instances of damage? So, whether it's single target, cleave, mass AoE. But then you can also think of damage profile as like how they deal their damage. So for example, a Ignite Fire Mage has an ideal damage profile because you're funneling all of your damage into a scary priority mob and then just completely passively doing big AoE from only doing that, right? Whereas something like a Rep Paladin has no priority damage or very little priority damage, and all of its damage is just like mass AoE damage, which they look good on the meters because they kill all the smallies before like your Fire Mage is ramped up. But realistically, the Fire Mage is the better performer. Fuck you, Omega. Fuck you, dude. Disc and Mistweaver in S. R-Druid in A+. We trust Artie. H-Pow and H-Priest in B, really? Okay. What about Prez, bro? You forgot Prez. That's my main for season 2. Hey? Are your potential mains geared or only your mage? My mage is the only thing that's geared. My hunter's in like a fine spot. He didn't forget Prez. Oh, Sham Prez, A. Oh, I was right. Let's go. Wait, Sham's A? I've seen people saying Sham's not that great. Then where should we put the tank? Chat? Talk to me. Put Blood DK in A. Noted. And the rest in B. Honestly. There we go. Blacky with the follow. 86 with the follow. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. I don't know how many followers we've had today, but holy shit, we've had a lot. Probably like 50 maybe. That's insane. Druid is C because no damage. Is that true? Yeah, wait. VDH should go up here. I think... Should I not leave Prop Pala in A+? What, Guardian Druid to C? Like that? What is wrong with my chat? I'm not going to open that right now because it will open it in this tab. Like, I trust you will, but I don't know. It freaks me out that you guys can see my tabs right now. Are we talking just a normal druid or a Vesperal druid? See, these are the real questions, Lovell. I'm glad at least somebody's thinking for themselves, you know? Oh shit, wait, no, I put the wrong one up there. It's meant to be like that. The double healer meta? Yeah, my bad. My B. There we go. So that's how we're looking right now. So, chat, what I'm going to do is every week, every time we get tuning, on the Friday after that, I mean, I know we've only got like 2 weeks of tuning before the season actually properly goes live, but I will continue to update this tier list. And what I will do is I'll literally just come to this tier list as is now. I mean, minus the tanks and healers because I'm clueless about them. And I will just move them around based on like their nerfs and buffs, right? So any tier list from this point on should be easier because we've now done like the base of them. We've explained why they are where they should be in terms of utility and defensive and power. And any changes will probably just be based on power, I would imagine. Is there any catch-up gear planned for the week before the season starts? Well, you'll have Mythic Zeros, Humes. Let's go, algorithm. I actually had complaints about the music earlier, but I feel like it was just one specific song. I'm not too sure. We all know what enhance will be. That enhance will be S tier, the whole expansion. This is the thing, man. It's like, I hope it would be. I would like to see a Havoc DH meta. I think that would be pretty cool. Havoc DH. I really, really, really want to see a Feral as well. Feral meta. And then what would be the third? You need a Lust class, unless you got it from your healer. So... I mean, I'd like to see MM, but obviously MM's not looking too hot right now. We have a Feral meta. Let me drag all these off as well. Just for... Oh, I can't? Oh, no. What have I done, chat? Why can't I drag them down? I mean, I can just remake the tier list at some point and place them in the correct order. Enjoy your champagne, Tory Fong tonight. I'll tell him you said that. To be fair, I'm not a big fan of beer, so like I actually don't mind the idea of a little Prosecco Pong. Olaf with the... This confuses me how it words it. Resubscribe for 2 months at tier 1. Wait, so if you just subscribed for a month in advance as well? Oh no, you're on a 2-month streak. Okay, got it. Thank you very much, Olaf. Appreciate ya. Get info from your team on healer and tank tuning. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, I'm not well versed at all, so I don't know, like, yeah, I don't really want to be the one to put any information out there on shit that I don't know, right? Like, I'm very transparent with stuff that I don't know about. Or just create a new tier? Yeah, I could do that. Is there a best pets for Hunter? No. All pets are normalized. You can now change the spec of all your pets. You'll want to play with a tenacity pet for the defensives unless you need a lust. You'll swap to a ferocity pet. Spirit beasts give you a tiny extra heal, so that could be reason to play one of those. There is a Stonehound pet as well that you can instantly resurrect every like 8 minutes or something. So that could technically be classed as a DPS upgrade if you see your pets die a lot, which I know happened to me like a few times. So maybe a Stonehound. Let's go, Will_how. I knew you were a Prosecco drink. What gave it away? Read my last message real quick. What are you yapping about? Also, in my opinion, someone's play worried a lot. I think Fury and Arms should swap places, as Fury's have way more buffs than Arms and in single target. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, the reason Arms is that high up, otherwise I probably would have had them both in B, is I think those buffs are just disgusting that Arms has just had. And I think Arms was already good. You can run BM Stonehound and chain spec without it despawning. Go. How's Fire Mage different in 11.1 from now? I feel like it's incredibly inconsistent and very difficult to maintain a steady rotation. Fire... I don't actually know what build Fire is going to play in Season 2. Oh, I don't know. It could be Flame Strike, it could be Ignite. I feel like they're quite interchangeable, to be fair. But nothing's really changed rotationally. I mean, you're still playing Sun Fury. Wait, I haven't played Resale in so long. What hero talent is Fire playing on live right now, Season 1? Is it Frostfire? I feel like it might be, right? But, well, to be fair, Fire is slowing down in Season 2. You'll be scorching a lot more inside your combust. You'll be fishing for fireball crits a lot more as well, because you're not having 3 charges of Phoenix Flames anymore. So I guess it's maybe becoming more reactive in that sense. Oh, it is Frostfire. Okay. Gotcha. Right. Is there anything else we can really do, chat? I don't know. Let me check. I imagine PTR still down, right? I don't know. I feel like you guys would have said if it was up. Guess I'll stick with Locke. I think I might be joining you, Serge. Maybe. We'll see. I haven't fully decided what I'm going to be playing yet. Yeah, PTR still down. Not sure I agree on Fire being S tier. Where would you place it, Matt? A+? I mean, it's a very good spec. When I did place it, I was debating keeping it top of A+, but I just went with S in the end. High A? Wait, did you see the tier list, Matt? So there is an A+ tier. There you go. Surely you wouldn't put Fire and Frost down here, would you? I mean, it's still good ranking, don't get me wrong, but I feel like Fire and Frost are easily up there with these specs. Side by side at A+, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, so I was debating keeping Fire in at the top of A+. I feel like Havoc should probably be S, but I just haven't seen enough of it yet. No problem, Dingle. Appreciate you coming through. Appreciate you all watching today, gang. Means a lot. Classic Withered Sim. Are the rows in order? To the best of my ability, yeah. Don't look too much into the rows. I tried to do them in order, but it's not an easy task, right? If they're in A+, they're in A+, and they're possible meta contenders. A is a very good place to be. B is still a good place to be. Stream your Valentine's Day? I actually could. I'm not sure how many of you guys would actually tune in, but yeah, I probably could. Probably be a little vibe. Affliction I'd also put lower, because lower A. Yeah, I think Affliction slept on. Wonder if Mystery Girl is S tier. Come on, that's too generous, Jack. That's way too generous. Can't be giving it all out that early, can I? You have to guess for the 2 rogue specs. I'm not sure about Asa. I think Sub is probably going to be the best rogue spec, but unsure. It's very hard to judge that. It's kind of based off of nothing. You just went crazy today. Yeah, I mean, it's tier list, isn't it? Like, it's bound to happen. Appreciate you all tuning in, by the way, gang. Thank you very much for watching. Means a lot. I will be making more tier lists. I don't really like to be the tier list guy. I don't want to be known as a tier list guy. I kind of held back on tier lists for the start of the War Within. I'd rather make more detailed videos, and they're essentially like, to be transparent, they're like a tier list disguised, right? So I'll be turning this tier list into 2 separate ranged and melee DPS tier list videos. They'll be going up on YouTube. Then I will be making, I'll run you through my content schedule. Let me show you. I won't show you, but I'll tell you. So we're going to do a weekly progressive updating tier list. We're going to do a winners and losers of 11.1, which will be a handful of the best specs and a handful of the worst specs. Probably not going to do that. I'll do what are the best classes for 11.1 so far. A nice detailed scripted video on what I think are the best classes and why. We'll do a full range comparison and a full melee comparison, which will be mainly based off of fun and gameplay, but there will also be some power dashed in there, maybe some utility and defensive, we'll see. Then I'll be releasing the Plater profile before the season goes live, so you guys will be able to update that, and it will have a full video breaking down the Plater profile again. Don't think I'm going to add anything else to it. Seb did come up with a great idea the other day, which we might be able to cook on, but I'll keep that on the low key for now. My main for 11.1, I mean, you guys in the stream mostly know what I'm going to be maining. But, I mean, I'm still not decided. Like, I'm not just saying that to, ooh, let's keep it a mystery so you guys don't, like, yeah, you guys don't know what I'm going to be maining, so you'll watch the video. It's probably going to be Warlock, but I'm still very much open to maining something. Like, even Havoc. If Havoc's good and we don't have to play any form of momentum, then, I don't know. We'll also do a pugging tier list. So it'll be a DPS tier list like that, but it'll be ranked, because that was more so for like higher keys, right? Not the highest keys, but like the higher keys, as you're starting to like push keys. Pugging will be more for like mid-range keys, like the specs that are really going to help like carry your group to victory. Then we'll do 5 safe picks for raid. We'll do 5 safe picks for Mythic Plus. Then we'll have the complete raid guide coming out. We'll do a separate last boss raid guide as we normally do. And then we'll do all 8 dungeon guides. And then I will also make some tech videos. Just some quick tips and tricks for each of the dungeons that like aren't so obvious. So you guys would know. Well, yeah, it could be Fire Mage as well, Sewer. It could be. Maybe I'm baiting you all. I don't know. Bro, only play Havoc if you have absolutely zero self-respect. I like Havoc, man. I like Havoc without momentum. I didn't care about it for the longest time, but I like Havoc again. S-Priest going down to C tier. Yeah, Shadow is really not a great pugging spec, is it? Like, if you miss Shadowcraft, it's GG's. You don't have much utility to help out your group in terms of stops. You got a long kick. You're rampy. Damn, you better stop napping in the day then. I better start sleeping at night. That's my issue. We better get Kiss Goodbye. Oh, you will. You flirt. Good luck on your date. Thank you, my friend. It's kind of at that point now where, like, this is going to sound so fucking arrogant, but it's not. It's just a case of, like, comfortability, right? It's at that point now where we don't need luck, but I appreciate the kind words nonetheless. You mind recapping your thoughts on Fire versus Frost? I think Fire is overall better. I don't know. It's hard to say what build of Fire is going to be the meta build. I think they're both great right now, but Frost brings better priority damage. Oh, does it? I don't know. They're just both incredibly good specs, both of them. That Archon talent that pauses void form between pulls. Is that a thing? You vibing? We vibing? We straight vibing? Are you posting that Fire Mage video? Oh, great shout. Yes, I'll upload that tonight. I'll upload that in like 2 hours, maybe. We'll see. But yeah, unfortunately, chat, that is me done for the day. I mean, I would have stayed on and played some PTR keys because I've been kind of wanting to play some PTR and test out the specs that I haven't tested out. But yeah, apparently they're just keeping PTR down all week, which is far from ideal. But yeah, massive W stream. Appreciate all of you guys watching. Welcome to the stream, those of you that came over for the tier list. Appreciate you all coming through. Thank you for the follows and thank you for the subs as well. Holy shit, we had a lot of subs today. Who can we host, chat? I don't know who's online. And yeah, those tier list videos, if you did miss them, they'll be going up over the weekend. I might try and just get them out Saturday, Sunday, or maybe Sunday, Monday. We'll see. Welcome everyone again that came for the tier list. See you again in 3 to 4 months. Yep. See you later, guys. Pleasure knowing you. Who knows where we'll be in 3 to 4 months, eh? Could you show both your builds so we compare Ignite to Flame Strike? Well, in the key. Oh wait, you were in the key, weren't you? I think I showed both builds. Thank you, Per. That means a lot, man. Thank you. Yeah, I am full-time content creator. Yeah, luckily I've done it since I began, somehow, some way. Don't get me wrong, we've had our ups and downs, as any business does when it first starts, right? Like any normal business that you start, you're going to be in loss for the first like 2 or 3 years. But we've been very fortunate to make it work since the start through like living circumstances and such. When WoW's down bad like it is right now, sometimes it can get a bit spooky, but it's whatever. I'm living my dream, man. I love what I do. I could not. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do anything else. Like I feel like I've said this on stream before, and like the OGs and the regulars are gonna be like, fucking hell, here we go again. But if I could go into a room with my younger self and he like asked me what I did now, I'm living that dream, which is pretty fucking sick to be able to say, right? Oh, is Biz online? Yeah, we'll send you guys to Biz. Yeah, he's on the ult, isn't he? And it's just a process, right? Like we'll just grow the channel over time. The more I continue to do it, and I have no intention of stopping anytime soon, the more the channel will grow. And maybe one day we'll be big time. Just by myself. Well, Seb's gonna hate me for that. Seb, Love Life Daily in chat, he does help me a lot with bits and bobs. But yeah, I feel like I have to tread very, very carefully with this answer. But yeah, like I don't have a proper team. And RC. Forgot you were here, RC. And you decided to turn up late. No, that's fine, mate. I don't deserve it. But yeah, since the start, it was just little old me at the start. But he's still yapping. I can see you typing in Discord now, Omega. But yeah, that's me done for today. WW stream. Appreciate you guys all watching. Have a lovely weekend, people. Oh shit, yeah. I won't be streaming on the weekend. I don't stream weekends anymore. So I'll be back on Monday for another week of streaming. But I'll be doing some YouTube stuff over the weekend for sure. It feels weird. It feels like I take too much time off on the weekend. I don't know. I'm not used to it yet. Maybe I'll stream on Sunday. Who knows? But have a lovely weekend, people. Enjoy your Valentine's if you've got any plans for it. Omega's left, so I'm not going to kiss you guys. But yeah, go say what's up to Biz. Keith with a Prime, thank you very much. Hopefully you hear that before the raid goes through. Did it not go through? Oh, it did.